Swift Current Broncos did not have an end to 2010 that they were hoping for. They only won 3 times in 10 straight games away from home. To be fair, they were missing the services of Cody Eakin, one of the heroes for Team Canada at the World Junior Championships, as well as a variety of other players who were out with injury. They rebounded nicely, though, in their return home last Sunday, knocking off the top team in the Eastern Conference, the Saskatoon Blades. Tonight, they face the Calgary Hitmen, a team that has had a first half of the season to forget. Currently in last place in the East, the Hitmen want to wipe the slate clean in the new year, and so far they've made some strides, taking points in 3 of their last 4. With just 4 days left before the WHL trade deadline, will this be one of the last looks at how we see the Broncos and Hitmen? Find out next. There you see veteran overage forward for the Swift Current Broncos, Justin Dowling. He leads this team in points right now, has 46 points in 43 games, trying to earn a pro contract. He and the home team tonight get ready to face this guy. Jimmy Bubnick and the visiting Calgary Hitmen come to town, a team hungry to get going towards the playoff bar. The Atlanta Thrashers prospect has 14 goals on the season. Good evening from the Credit Union iPlex here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. I'm your host, Joey Kenward, live on location for WHL Central. You know, when you come into Swift Current, on either side of town on Highway 1, there's a sign, Swift Current, life makes sense. But what doesn't make sense for the Broncos lately has been their schedule. 11 straight games away from this building prior to and after the Christmas break. They're a team that is coming off a pretty impressive win over the conference-leading Saskatoon Blades earlier this week, and points are also valuable right now for the Broncos. There you see where they are in the Eastern Conference picture. They played more games than any other team in the conference and are just 1 point up on the Edmonton Oil Kings for sole possession of 6th spot overall. Now, Swift Current has been hampered by injuries in the past month, in addition to being without the services of one of their best players. That's Cody Eakin, but they've had to lean on a couple of other different players to get the job done offensively, including this guy who's a brand new addition to the mix. It's Trevor Cameron, who came in from playing in the SJHL with Notre Dame and has been a bright addition. 3 goals in his first 4 games in the WHL, and prior to this game he caught up with our own Dave Thomas.
Trevor, 3 goals in 4 games since joining the Broncos. A pretty good start.
Yeah, it's been really good. Had a couple great line mates. Playing with a guy like Justin Dowling is great chance, and he set me up for one, and Lau's working hard in the corner, set me up for the other one, so been in the right spot at the right time. So.
You started the year playing in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League with the Notre Dame Hounds. What has that program meant to you, and how has it helped in your development getting to this level?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. Went from a small town mission, AA hockey, to Notre Dame, right from Bantam to midget, playing AAA there, and then junior, and my hockey wouldn't be at the level it's at without them, without their help. So, yeah.
Obviously, the transition's been seamless thus far. All the best tonight.
Yeah, the first 2 games were a little bit rough, and then the last 2 were better. But yeah, I think my transition to the league is getting better as it goes.
Thanks for this.
No problem. Thank you.
You know, the Swift Current Broncos have been playing WHL hockey for the last 25 years. My friend here, Jesse, a young Swift Current fan, is sporting their new 3rd jersey this year. That's the original jersey and crest that the Broncos had when they came into the league more than 2 decades ago. The Broncos won a Memorial Cup in the late 1980s, and they would love to get close to getting back to a Memorial Cup, if not a WHL championship contender over the next couple of years. I was the broadcast voice here in Swift Current for 3 years. I had to climb a ladder to get to the play-by-play booth over those years, just like our play-by-play team has had to do tonight. Let's head there now as we're joined by Kirk Fraser and Jeff Odgers. Fellas?
Thanks, Joe. You find out how bad a shape you're really in once you start climbing the ladder here in Swift Current to get up to this press box, don't you?
I didn't think I ate that much turkey, but obviously I did. I got to get back on the treadmill.
Yeah, that New Year's resolution is going to kick in real quick. But let's talk about hockey right now. First of all, Swift Current Broncos, they're a team that if they get healthy, Jeff, could be a real force down the stretch, but we don't know what the team is going to look like after the January 10th trade deadline. One guy that's getting some attention is goaltender Mark Friesen.
Well, he sure is. Sometimes the term workhorse is overused. Not in this case. He leads the WHL in minutes played. He is second in saves. And he has been a huge part of why this team is in a playoff spot right now. And they've had a ton of injuries, and you have to be careful when you're going to move a guy like this. You have a young defense like the Swift Current Broncos do. He makes up for a lot of mistakes that are made. Instead of going back to the bench shaking your head, you're going back to the bench, feel not too bad about yourself, a little bit of confidence.
Well, the Calgary Hitmen on the other side are a fairly young team, and they have some people on their roster that other teams are looking at to add to their depth down the stretch. But one guy who's probably not going anywhere is 18-year-old Justin Kirsch.
No, Justin Kirsch last year as a rookie came in, kind of felt his way around, was on a team that went to Memorial Cup semifinals against Brandon Wheat Kings, and he came back with a lot of confidence. 8 points last year. What's he doing this year? 30 points so far. He has definitely found his stride, and he benefited from the veterans he played last year. He's a guy this team is going to probably look to lean on and build around, not move.
18-year-old from Chilliwack, British Columbia, Justin Kirsch, and he was downstairs prior to the game talking to our own Dave Thomas.
Justin Kirsch, 8 points in your rookie season, 30 points already thus far this season. What's been working offensively?
Right now, I'm just trying to work hard and get pucks deep, and I think I'm getting pretty lucky right now, getting pucks on net, getting a few goals here and there, but I'm just trying to work hard every night.
Obviously a different team than what the Hitmen iced last year, and a team that was at the top of the Eastern Conference for much of the season. What has that changed for your role?
I mean, it just gets all of us guys working harder, I think. We got to, obviously pick up our game a little bit because we are struggling right now, but I think tonight we'll pick it up a lot and we'll be really good tonight.
What are you expecting against the Swift Current Broncos?
I expect a fast game tonight. They're a good team, and I think it'll be a really good game tonight.
Justin, we wish you all the best. Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Face-off between the Hitmen and the Broncos coming up next on Shaw. Welcome to the friendly confines of the Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, getting ready for this matchup between the Broncos and the Hitmen. Here are your starting goaltenders for tonight's game. First of all, for the visiting Hitmen, 19-year-old Michael Snyder, 30 and 33 in the save department, 30 for 33 in that shootout loss in Regina on January 2nd. Mark Friesen, the workhorse for the Broncos, made 37 saves in that win against Saskatoon on Sunday. Your referees for tonight's game are Devin Klein and Andy Deason. Darren Hulaha and Ian Schaefer are your linesmen. Bob Bowers has the job of video goal judge tonight. Second meeting of the season between the Hitmen and the Broncos, with Current winning in Calgary by a count of 3-0 way back on October the 8th. Cody Eakin, who is not in the lineup for Swift Current tonight, had a 2-goal night. Justin Dowling, who was on the opening faceoff for the Broncos, had a 3-assist performance. And we are underway here in the little burg affectionately known as Speedy Creek. Bouncing puck at the Bronco line. Sylvester on the left wing trying to get a chance going for Calgary. Flips it in behind the net. Lowry on that, bodied by Kirsch. In goes Nathan McMaster. Centering pass goes by everybody all the way back into the Calgary zone.
Calgary getting some early pressure on the forecheck. 2 quick turnovers by Swift Current. Almost resulted in 2 good chances for the Hitmen. Got to clean up that own end.
Peter Kosterman, the 17-year-old from Calgary, hands it off for Misha Fisenko. Welcome back to Canada, Misha. Sends it around for Fiddler. Back in behind for Fisenko. Trying to work away from Taylor Voss. Feeds the line. Here is Roach at the line. His shot tipped by Bubnik, but it went wide. Andy Blank trying to clear and does as Roach rambles back to pick it up.
Good puck movement early by Calgary. The defense looking to stand up. Watch for that. They could be pinching.
Roach again trying to lug that ahead to center. Sends it into the Swift Current zone, and quickly turning that back is Kyle Verdino. Puts that back in behind Snyder, leaves that for Brody Looning, who then in turn leaves that for Chris Foucault. Back across now for Kyle Schmidt. He'll send it in. Hitmen on the forecheck, trying to get something going. The Broncos on that. Big check defenseman Richard Nedumlel able to get that to center. But the Hitmen back on that. Here's Chris Foucault. Jordan Pennell rides him into the boards, but the puck gets deep. Friesen sends it back around, but then turned it over, and a centering pass goes by the wayside for Calgary. Broncos forced to clear it. Hitmen shoot it right back in.
Calgary Hitmen coming hard with 2 guys on the forecheck, keeping that 3rd guy high, but first 2 guys are all out.
Gene and Risling back on it in his own zone. Lead pass up the middle, flipped into the offensive zone by Ben Wilson, defenseman by trade, but playing forward for his team tonight. Jordan Peddle able to get that through center. Kosterman hustling back. Stepan Novotny trying to get him on the forecheck. It's a body on him, but the Hitmen are on it. Matt McKenzie will chip that to center. Quickly taken back away by Novotny. Stick handles away from the pressure as the Hitmen patiently wait for the Bronco attack. Dalton Riem sending it across for Jordan Evans, and then down into the Calgary zone it goes one more time, and the Broncos will change. Good forecheck by Lowry, gets a loose puck, feeds the line. Riem pedals off the boards, his shot block, gets it again, and jams it in deep. There's Trevor Cameron out there with Justin Dowling on the near side. Carter Berg trying to win it free for Calgary. McKenzie gets a stick up on Cameron, and Matt McKenzie draws the first penalty of the hockey game. Swift Current's power play will go to work for the first time in this hockey game.
Well, the start of the game was all Calgary against the pressure. Swift Current doing what they need to do to get the puck in deep, get in the forecheck. When you got the puck, good things are going to happen. You're going to create chances, and you're also going to draw penalties. Here we go on the hit. Get your stick up, a little bit of a high stick. Lucky that's not forward.
Well, Cameron certainly checked to make sure there was no leakage. But the Calgary captain, Matt McKenzie, in the box for two. Bronco power play going to work, ranked 11th in the Western Hockey League at 19.2%. Little cycle down low. Broncos keep it going to the line. Evans is there. Drops it off for Hoban. Side of the net. Jam it on goal. Snyder the save. Rebound taken by Sylvester. He's got room to work, and he's able to bounce it off the boards down the ice.
Early in that power play, Swift Current trying to develop their low play, jamming that from the side. Right-handed shot on the off wing, playing the goal line.
Kyle Verdino up ahead for Taylor Vaz. Now for Brad Hoban. Pulls up at the hash marks. He'll feed the line. Verdino and Hoban play some catch. Lowry's parked in front. Evans sneaking down the back door as it goes in behind the net. Taylor Vaz in control. Back out for Evans under pressure. Hitman able to win it, and there's Chris Foucault. Up with Danny Gale, shorthanded 2-on-3. Foucault will dump it in. Gale heads off on a change. Now Verdino and Foucault collide back of the net, but Foucault maintains possession. He and Jimmy Bubnick out here on the penalty kill up front for Calgary. Kosterman and Roach, the defenseman, halfway through this penalty against Matt McKenzie. Justin Dowling will now weave his way through center. Gains the Calgary line, has good speed, drives the net, stopped there by Snyder. Great chance for Dowling as he blew into the zone. Now Novotny in the slot, can't pull the trigger. Back down for Dowling, double teamed, he'll leave it in the corner. There's Cameron, leaned on by Kosterman. Dowling can't get the handle, and now Misha Fisenko darts ahead. His pass for Jimmy Bubnick on the right wing. Able to get it into the offensive zone, but Novotny takes it away late in this power play for Swift Current. Stepan Novotny slowly to the red line. Left wing pass, here's Dowling. Sends it back to Novotny. Nobody in front quite yet. Cameron in the slot, but a pass down low. Backhander by Peddle. Stopped by Snyder. And back comes Calgary, the penalty over. Here's McMaster with Santini and Schmidt, but the 3-on-2 doesn't materialize for an offensive chance, and Calgary forced to shoot it back in.
Michael Snyder, Calgary Hitmen goaltender, tested early twice point blank in that power play.
Great stop on Dowling. Now a chance in front for Kirsch, and he couldn't convert. Trevor Cameron takes a good hit from former Bronco Brody Luning right at the Calgary bench. Hitmen able to start ahead. Justin Kirsch picks his way to center. Long lead pass for Sylvester. That's too far, icing Calgary.
Well, both teams able to generate some chances. First off was Calgary Hitmen 5-on-5. Swift Current able to get some power play opportunity, and they take advantage of it. Justin Dowling, he's got great speed, great patience with the puck. He likes to take that puck wide, what he does. And here we see little fake inside, goes outside, goes to the backhand. Great play going across. Michael Snyder, though, there to lay the pad down.
It's a great stop by the veteran Snyder. 7-12, 1-1 on the year. Has a shutout as well. Hitmen trying to win that puck in their own zone. Fisenko can't get the handle. Novotny will. Throws it down for Hoban. Has Peddle in front. Got it to him. A shot doesn't get through. Good chance for Jordan Peddle. Now Brody Luning on the puck for Calgary. From Lumsden, Saskatchewan, just outside Regina. Now Fisenko to the net with a pass. Couldn't hook up with Fiddler. Peddle back on it now for the Broncos. He'll dump it in. Goes off of Schmidt to the corner. Novotny hard on the forecheck. Schmidt, though, able to poke that free for Tyler Fiddler. Forced back into his own zone by the forecheck of Trevor Cameron. Fiddler just coming back from an ankle injury, returning to the Hitman lineup. And now here's Foucault right side, top of the circle, trying a little dangle on Verdino, can't get by him. But the Hitmen maintain possession, nice work again by Foucault. Reese Scarlett, first time we've heard his name tonight. He'll go to the top prospects game in a week and a half or so. Gets it ahead, Dowling at the line, can't move it in for Swift Current. And now Foucault feeds Danny Gale. Ex-Moose Jaw Warrior trying to move in on the left wing side. Scarlett trying to ride him off as well. Adam Lowry leaning into his man. That's Wilson behind the net. Gale back on it for Calgary. Now to Wilson, backhander, stopped by Friesen, and the rebound whacked to the corner. Foucault left wing hash marks. Nice work by Foucault. Surveys the situation. Now sends a shot through traffic. That just misses glove side. Gale on the right wing. Gets it in deep. Dowling on it for Swift Current. Scarlett ridden off hard by Foucault. Kosterman comes in. Gale to back him up at the line. Able to hold it in. Down to Foucault. But Dowling strips him of the puck, and Swift Current will start ahead. Doesn't look like a last place team to me, Jeff. Calgary's playing well early on.
Foucault all over the place, winning battles over that whole line, generating a lot of pressure.
Penalty on the play. We'll sort that out in a moment. Let's first go downstairs to Dave Thomas.
Well, once again, Shaw TV sets me up with the best seat in the house beside Brandon Glover here tonight in the Calgary Hitmen bench. He says he's taking the armrest. I get all the popcorn, so not a bad trade-off. And when I look down at my lineup card, his mates are a healthy bunch and a lot of energy right now being expended by this team that's been on the road for an awful long time. Their lone scratch tonight as far as injury goes is Trevor Cheek, who's got a shoulder injury, and he's going to be away week to week. On the other side of the ice, the Swift Current Broncos come in literally black and blue. They get one player back tonight in the lineup. That's Kyle Verdino, but 4 others are scratches. That includes Tanner Muth, along with Killian Hutt. Josh Durko is out with a broken hand and a back injury for Brendan Sylvester, going to keep him out of the lineup tonight. Also out of the lineup tonight, Cody Eakin hasn't made his way back to Swift Current yet from the World Junior Hockey Championship, but of course he did suffer a hand injury, so we'll have to see how long he may be out, boys. So definitely the Broncos feeling the pain a little bit tonight.
Dave Thomas winning the best seat in the house contest again. Is the Bronco power play going to work? Too many men on the ice, the call against Calgary. Pass across, Taylor Vaz couldn't handle that one from Dowling, and then Bubnik simply runs his man off the puck and then takes a face full of Adam Lowry for his trouble.
He's right about Calgary's energy level. They come out here to play, and it's a 4th game on a 7-game trip.
Calgary 9 points out of a playoff spot. They are still very much thinking postseason. Broncos are in. Hoban to the front of the net. Shot on, and Snyder cradles that in the blocker arm.
Well, Mike Williamson had a chance to talk with him this morning, talked about the season, the difference in 12 months make. The team they had last year went to the Memorial Cup semifinals. The team this year obviously not getting results needed. They talk about the 1-goal games, the close games. 72% of their games have been 1-goal differences in the 3rd period.
Near misses for Calgary, but the Hitmen penalty kill at work. Cameron on the right wing side had the puck get away on him. Some nice work though on the right point by Scarlett to hold that in. Comes down to Peddle. Again to Dowling. Sends it to the line. Scarlett's there. Shot into the front for Cameron. Little slap pass. It doesn't quite click. Now back into the corner. Here's Dowling. Circles in. Shoots. That doesn't get on target. Cameron back of the net one more time. With Dowling at the right hash marks. Has Novotny at the line and feeds Scarlett instead. Back to Dowling. Novotny open, but the pass they cut off by McMaster. Nice job by McMaster to get in the way of that, and the Hitmen able to clear.
A lot of teams in Western Hockey League, they look for that one-time shot from the point. Swift Current Broncos, they like going to the point, back down low, creating chances from their forwards.
Still a little bit of time in the Swift Current power play, and they come. It's Dowling again, shoots, and he whistles a hard wrist shot wide. And enough on that for the rebound to get past Verdino. Enough time for one more foray for Swift Current in the power play. Dylan Wagner trying to chug into the offensive zone. Gale gets a hip into him. Risling back on it. He's bumped by Andy Blank. Meanwhile, the penalty against Calgary is over. Swift Current's power play is 0 for 2 halfway through this first period.
But not without some great scoring chances in tight.
Again at the line, Evans a shot tipped towards the goal, and Snyder was quick with his stick to knock that away. Andy Blank and Dylan Wagner, nice work down low here for the Broncos. Risling and Kosterman able to win that out for Calgary. Gale drops it back for an unsuspecting Chris Foucault. He's got a hustle back and regroup. Now a long lead pass to the Broncos, changing. Fiddler in, big shot, and Friesen's out to meet that one. Sylvester down low for Calgary. He's hammered hard by Nedemlau. Big hit by the Czech defenseman. Reese Scarlett goes off the glass and out for Swift Current, and that will be icing against the Broncos just about at the midway mark of period one. Shots 5-3 in favor of Swift Current.
The one thing about this rink here, the benches are on both sides. Calgary takes advantage of that. They stretch Fiddler out for the quick breakout pass. Most rinks, your benches are on both sides. This one, you have to be a little extra aware, especially if you're that offside defenseman making that late change.
The Credit Union Iplex, the Westman Place in Brandon, and the Arena in Medicine Hat, the three arenas in the Western League where you have benches on opposite sides. Fisenko now with a chance, right in tight, trying to shuttle it on goal, but stopped. Fisenko again puts one just across the top of the crease. Brody Looning pinches in. Fiddler to Fisenko. He puts it wide. McKenzie right point. Taps it down to Fiddler. To Looning, top of the left circle, fakes the shot, has room, fires, that's off the outside of the net. Back in front, Scarlett able to pull it out of harm's way. Great start for Calgary. Now Jimmy Bubnick with some work, just about came up with that puck. Now Justin Dowling is weaving his way through neutral ice. Nice work to get that into the Calgary zone, bounces a puck into Snyder. He'll let it go to McKenzie, and then he'll cover it up one more time to get a stoppage halfway through period one. Shots are 5 apiece. The score, no score in Swift Current. Well, the Calgary Hitmen have gotten off to a pretty good start in this hockey game. Still scoreless midway through the first period, but they have come in here looking to keep their playoff hopes alive on what is their longest road trip of the season.
Well, and that's going to be tough. Anytime you go on the road, especially in this league, those are tough victories to get. They've had a great start tonight. This is game 4 of the game 7 trip. And in the month of January, they have 10 of 14 on the road. So if this team is going to make that run, they're going to have their work cut out for them. It's going to be a definite character test for the Calgary Hitmen.
Medicine Hat, Regina, Saskatoon, Swift Current, out to Brandon, and back into Lethbridge for a pair against the Hurricanes. Then they get to go home.
Get tired just thinking about that.
Yeah, just to go home and play Lethbridge again. How about that for a Central Division battle? 3 straight against the same team. Swift Current working it down low again. Pass from Cameron to the line, looking for Dalton Riem. Couldn't hook up with him. McMaster chops it in. Friesen out of his net. He'll fling it around the boards, and it hits a stanchion right to Roach. He'll fire. That goes off the leg, and they score! And it's Justin Kirsch on the doorstep. Bangs hit a loose puck, and the Hitmen have a 1-0 lead.
Well, keep it simple. The Calgary Hitmen doing a lot of the right things all night. Get the puck back to the point man. Good work down low. Get the shot on net. Get traffic at the net. Hitmen doing a great job. Puck comes out a little bit loose. Justin Kirsch right there to bang that in.
Well, let's see who that hit in front. That hit Chris Foucault right in the shin pads off the shot from Alex Roach at the blue line.
And for Justin Kirsch, he just had a 7-game point streak, and last game where he had 10 points. Good time to start another one.
Hitmen 8-7-0-1 when scoring first. So 8 of their 12 victories have come when they scored the first goal, and they have accomplished that again tonight. The Broncos back in, going to work deep in the Calgary zone. But Ben Wilson, who is, as mentioned earlier, usually a defenseman, playing forward tonight, did some nice work below his own goal line to win that puck back, and that's where that defensive experience comes in handy. And we have a stoppage in play as the puck goes into the crowd, and I do believe it will be delay of game against Kyle Verdino, and that will give Calgary their first power play of the night.
Talk about Ben Wilson playing forward. Very great. It's a good asset to have as a player, be able to play both positions. Also, it gives you a different perspective on the position. You realize what the other forward's going through, what the defenseman's going through. Helps in your game. Here we're going to take a look at the penalty. Get the hands up a bit, get the stick up in the face.
Well, he was under that pressure, and he got rid of the puck and just launched it right into the crowd just above the Bronco bench. So that Calgary pressure coming in handy again. And here's a chance for the Hitmen in front. Couldn't quite convert on that. Now a break for Swift Current. Here go Novotny and Dowling. Shorthanded 2-on-1. Novotny trying to get a centering pass away, but it's blocked. Dowling gets it again, trying to feed it back to center ice, but the Hitmen knock it away. And they will regroup in the neutral zone. Calgary's power play ranked 13th Check that, 11th in the Western Hockey League at 19%. In weaves Misha Fisenko. Probably the only guy in the building happy with last night's gold medal result. McKenzie a blast through traffic, and Friesen makes that save. Novotny again on the puck, this time able to get it down the ice.
Matt McKenzie doing very well on the power play this year. Good heads-up shot there through the screen. Very similar to the 5-on-5 goal. This time not the same result.
Hitmen trying to get it in, but delayed offside the call, so Swift Current able to get rid of it. They will change things up. Foucault comes off, and Wilson comes on to join the power play. Bubnik, Fiddler, Kirsch, and Roach, the other members of this power play unit. Fiddler and Bubnik, little catch on the right wing side. Bubnik elects to jam it in deep. Kirsch goes after it. Bodied there by Scarlett. Puck clear to the line, and Calgary will have to regroup. Alex Roach, 17-year-old from Quesnel, BC, ahead for Jimmy Bubnik. Drives it along the near boards, back to the line. There's Wilson, across for McKenzie. Back in front, Kirsch a shot, he just missed low stick side. Ben Wilson again, back out for Bubnik. Fiddler goes to the front of the net. Bubnik dishes, looking for Kirsch. Pass just behind him. Late in this power play for Calgary. Fiddler behind the net. Sends it out in front, looking for Bubnik, and then McKenzie backhands a shot wide. Broncos on it. Vaz will clear, and that will do it for the power play.
Real nice job on that power play. Justin Kirsch kind of finding that quiet zone in that slot. Had a couple pass runs from the point, one from behind the net for opportunities.
Carter Berg will dump that in, former Chilliwack Bruin. Jordan Evans is back. He gets bodied there by his 16-year-old Chase Clayton. Hitmen able to keep it in, and that's Berg again out there with Santini and Clayton. Another defenseman turned forward, Carter Berg. Swift Current at center, unable to get a pass to Click, so on the forecheck they go. The Calgary breaks that down, and here's Jane and Risling. Up for Chase Clayton, showing good speed. Ridden off though by Evans, and Swift Current able to get that back to center ice.
You have to really appreciate the pace and the effort so far in this first period. It's been non-stop.
Already 15 minutes gone in this first period. Shots are 7-5 Calgary and 1-0 Hitmen on the scoreboard. Justin Kirsch with the goal, his 19th of the season. There you look at Gene and Risling, 17-year-old from Edmonton, a goal and an assist and +2 in Medicine Hat, and their victory on New Year's Day. Bouncing puck at center, Swift Current's on that. Dylan Wagner will shoot that in, and Snyder will steer that aside. Kosterman, good outlet pass for Danny Gale as a man at center, but the pass is behind Foucault. They won't chase that down to negate the icing.
We had a chance in the pregame show. We talked about Mark Friesen and the effort that he's put in this year, leading the WHL in minutes played, second in saves. He's had a little bit of a lighter load than his partner down at the end again, Michael Schneider. But Mark Friesen, one of those guys, lots of talk. What's going to happen to him in the trade line? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Myself personally, you got a young team like this, you need a goaltender. Give those guys confidence.
Well, he has done that. 19 and 18 this season. A very good save percentage of .909. I'm sure Mark Lamb is fielding some phone calls asking what it would take to maybe get a quality goaltender like Mark Friesen to come to their team. Well, it'll be a fly on the wall in a GM's office this time of year, eh, Jeff?
You and everybody else, just to find out how things transpire, how they work. It's an exciting time of the year.
Swift Current looking for an equalizer here with 4.5 to go in this first period. But Calgary sound positionally. They win the puck back. Bubnik, though, couldn't get the puck out of the zone. And then a shot back into Snyder. He will glove it and hang on.
We talk about all the decisions that are being made in the GM's office. Well, here's one guy who, like you said, he's had a lot of phone calls, a lot of people fielding questions. And in an organization, they have to decide, what are they doing? Are they trying to make a run for it? They're in 6th place. Or are they going to be sellers? They're going to build themselves for next year. When you look at this team, the way it's set up, with a younger defense, some veteran forwards, I would be surprised to see some of those veteran forwards get moved at the deadline.
Does the name Cody Eakin pop to your head?
He's the #1 guy everybody wants. He's a game breaker.
Had a great World Junior Tournament. Played hurt like a few of the other Canadian players as well. Braden Shen was out, will be out for a while. He has a partially separated shoulder. He played through that in the last bit of the tournament. Jimmy Bubnick, nice work in the offensive zone for Roach at the line, and he sends one into the breadbasket of Mark Friesen, who hangs on.
Well, Roach, very impressive so far. He played midget AAA in Prince George last year. He looked very confident out there, heads up, knows where he wants to go with the puck. A good side for a youngster, especially defense in this league. It takes a little while to develop, and next year, a guy like that, a guy like Justin Kirsch took off, look for a guy like Roach to make those same kind of steps.
6'4", 227 pounds.
And a wingspan that almost touches from the glass to glass. Didn't like those guys very much.
You just ran him over. That's all you did, right?
And then ducked.
Here comes the stick. Calgary some pressure down low once again. They've made a meal out of this so far in the first period. Good pass to the line. There is Alex Roach. His shot's blocked. Gets it again. That one's blocked too. Here's Kirsch. Wheeling and dealing on the left wing boards. Roach a blast. That doesn't get through. Kirsch again. This time looked after by Riem, but again, Roach gets it. Pedals from the slot, sends one in front, in traffic. Kirsch trying to fire it across. Now back in front, Cameron knocks that away, and Swift Current's got it. Flipped ahead by Lowry. He's trying to rumble in. Roach goes back. A couple of big boys collide behind the net.
You can get hurt just being close to something like that.
Get me out of here. Craig on that for Swift Current. He can't get it out of the zone. I have been thoroughly impressed, Jeff, with the positional play of the Calgary Hitmen tonight. They have been in the right place pretty much all of the time.
Well, both teams really good pressure and no odd man rushes.
Well, we've got a busy first intermission coming up. Rinkside with Matt McKenzie, the Broncos gentleman. Taylor Vaz inside the WHL with our own man rinkside, Dave Thomas, who will also recap the first period with some highlights and analysis. All of that coming up after period number 1. Puck into the Bronco bench off a defensive zone faceoff for Swift Current, so we'll try it all over again.
Here we take a look at defensive Matt McKenzie for the Calgary Hitmen. 17 power play points, 1 goal, 16 assists. Now there's a guy teams like to add to their team. Anchor your power play, good defensively.
Dave Thomas will pull him aside following the first period, get his thoughts on the opening period and the year so far for the Hitmen, I'm sure. What they're expecting out of themselves following the trade deadline, which is coming up in just a few days, January the 10th. And I'm sure a number of the phone companies are making a killing off the phone calls being made leading up to the deadline next week. Nice work by Wagner down low for the Broncos. Inside, 2 minutes to go here in this first period. Verdino, a big shot from the line, and that's patted down by Snyder and held for a face-off in the Calgary zone.
Well, Michael Snyder's been tested a lot more than his partner down at the other end, and he stood his ground early in the period. The first 3 shots on the power play, partial breakaway, close-in shots. That time he's standing up to the shots from the point. Been square to the shooter all night.
And Kyle Verdino, former Kelowna Rocket from Phoenix, Arizona, letting fly with that shot into Michael Snyder. He's from DeWinton, Alberta. One of the many small-town guys on the Western Hockey League, a little place just outside of Calgary, around Okotoks High River area. We're going to talk about Misha Fosenko later on in this hockey game, Jeff. He's in there with Fiddler and Bubnick. Calgary looks for a second goal here in this first period. Fiddler doing laps in the offensive zone. Gets another chance, rips a shot, and that misses the net high. Roach is on that again for Calgary. Back in behind. Fosenko and Verdino battling for the puck. Fosenko falls but keeps on digging. Novotny and Bubnick are there. So is Fiddler now on the near side. Tangling up with Reese Scarlett. They'll go back in behind the net for Verdino. Ahead for Pedal. Sees Schmidt coming and gets rid of it to center ice. Now Chris Foucault, former member of the Kootenay Ice, will send it rink wide for Cody Sylvester. The Kelowna native trying to move it in, but that's turned over. Back come the Broncos with the Hitmen changing. Lowry, left wing, sharp angle. Trying to move it back in front, but played well by Luning. But Dowling's on it. To the line, Evans. His shot doesn't get through. Final minute of play in the opening period. Kirsch in low. Trying to win it here for Calgary. Cameron and Dowling for Swift Current. Luning and Lowry there as well. Dowling comes out with it. Stick handles it to the line. Riem across. Evans fires. Kicked away by Snyder. Loose in front. Cameron brings it around. Lowry can't get a shot away. And Calgary back ahead. Sylvester and McMaster with Foucault off the bench. Puck in front. Sylvester puts it wide. Big tangle up in behind Friesen, and it's frozen behind the goal line for a face-off with just a few more seconds to go in the period. And how about Misha Fisenko? Here you see him on the Calgary bench. Was snowed in Russia, missed 5 games because he couldn't get here, and then once he could, it still took him a while to get here.
Yeah, you thought your Christmas travel plans were bad. On the way home, goes to Houston. Immigration papers aren't there. Has to go to Philly, then goes to Buffalo, gets somebody to help out there after work. Then he goes to Minnie, to Saskatoon. All over a course of, what, 4 days?
And that's after being snowed in Russia in airports for 3 days. So that's why I said earlier, welcome back to Canada, Misha Fisenko. And I'm sure the Hitmen are happy to have him back in their lineup. And that will do it for period number 1. A well-played period, great pace in that first frame. The Calgary with the goal. Justin Kirsch, his 19th. And the Hitmen have a 1-0 lead. Our first intermission is coming up. This is the WHL on Shaw.
Calgary Hitmen lead the Swift Current Broncos 1-0 through 20 minutes of play. Captain Matt McKenzie from the Hitmen, you have to be happy with the start.
Yeah, for sure. I think after last game, we know we needed to come out with a big start here. Swift Current's a pretty good team, so we knew we needed a good start, and luckily we got that first goal.
And you can hear your coaching staff talking and preaching about gap control. I assume that's a big thing with the speedy Bronco forwards.
Yeah, for sure. They got a really good set of forwards, so yeah, that's what we planned for the game. Make sure we take their time and space away, and so far so good. We just got to keep it up.
The hockey world in Canada right now talking about the big comeback by the Russians last night. You had an upfront close look at the Russians when you played in the Subway Super Series. 15 of those players played in that against your team, WHL. Were you surprised by the outcome?
Well, Team Canada had a pretty good squad this year, so I was a little surprised. But when, playing those Russians, they were a great team. They had a lot of speed and a lot of firepower. So I knew they were going to be a tough test, and unfortunately, it didn't go Canada's way.
Well, hopefully it'll go your way tonight. Congratulations on a good 20 minutes. Keep it going for the next 40.
Thanks a lot.
Matt McKenzie, our guest, the captain of the Calgary Hitmen after 20 minutes of play. We'll go from one corner of the rink down to the other end where Joey Kenward is standing by in WHL Central.
Thank you very much, Dave Thomas, with the Calgary Hitmen leading the Swift Current Broncos 1-0 on a goal courtesy of Justin Kirsch, his 19th of the year. You know, players all around the Western Hockey League take great pride in being involved in the community. And here in Swift Current, we find out a little bit more now about a player that is putting community involvement to a whole new personal level.
He likes to give more than he gets. He's just got such a great demeanor with people that he just cares, and anything he does to the full extension.
Caring and generous are words often used to describe Taylor Voss. The 19-year-old Broncos forward has always given much of his own time to charitable causes in the community. After being diagnosed with diabetes and still maintaining his athletic agenda, Taylor wanted to reach out to children who are also dealing with the illness. It's the same type of support he received when he was first diagnosed.
I think it's important to get the word out there that it's not going to stop you from doing anything. It's definitely something that's a challenge. It's not the easiest thing, but it's something you can definitely deal with. I mean, the first little bit for me was definitely a struggle, and I think to tell little kids when they're dealing with it when they're first diagnosed that time is tough and it will get better. I mean, this year's been way better for me, and just once you get adjusted, it's way better to live, and I'm on the pump as well. So to tell little kids to get on that, I think is a huge thing as well. So I think for me, it's just there were some pretty important people that talked to me when I was first diagnosed and just gave me encouragement. That meant a lot. And I talked to Bobby Clark and Nick Boynton and the guys that played in the NHL, and Nick Boynton just won the Stanley Cup. So for a guy to take time out of his schedule to just talk to me and give some advice was pretty cool. So if I can do that to any little kid, I'm absolutely in for that.
Taylor Voss hasn't let his busy schedule get in the way of playing the game he loves. Taylor is on pace to make his 2010-2011 WHL season his most successful to date. This is something assistant coach Darren Yevgin attributes to Vaz's ability to play both sides of the game.
Well, I think the core for him is he's such a great two-way player, and then if you branch off from that, he's a great skater. He competes very hard. His ability to, when the going gets tough, he's in on all the tough spots, and he's responsible defensively. So the best way to describe him, he's very good two-way, every way, and he can score as well. So, and he's a very important part of our lineup.
Being a native of Calgary, Taylor will admit there is always something bittersweet about playing his hometown Hitmen. But rest assured, he's a Broncos fan through and through.
Yeah, not going to lie, when I was younger, I did start out as a Hitmen fan, unfortunately, but it turned out that my dad is originally a Bronco player as well, so second generation, and he turned me into the Bronco fan that I am now, and it was pretty cool that once I was drafted and turning into a Bronco player, that I was cheering for the Broncos and also playing for the Broncos now.
For Shaw TV and Swift Current, I'm Christian Molding.
All right, thanks very much. Good job, Christian, here in Swift Current. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's Trade Talk. Not too far away from the Western Hockey League's trading deadline. Dave Thomas and I will break it down for you next. You're watching the Western Hockey League live here on Shaw. Welcome back to the iPlex here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, where the hometown Broncos trail the Calgary Hitmen 1-0 through 20 minutes of play. I'm Joey Kenner, joined by our ringside host, Dave Thomas. It's time to go inside the Western Hockey League. And Dave, this is a big couple of days ahead on the WHL schedule. The Western Hockey League's trade deadline is next Monday afternoon, and we've got a lot of names to talk about and a lot of teams that could be either buyers or sellers. This is going to be a busy couple of days, isn't it?
Absolutely. General managers around the league have got to figure out where they factor in when it comes postseason push time, and that's the fun part for fans, or you can go ahead and figure out, okay, what does he think of my team and what are my team going to do? And there's a lot of names that could very well be in play. And
there are a handful of blue chip future National Hockey League players that could be going from one team to another. When you talk about game breakers in the 19-year-old category, Dave, well, you just look at this list to see there are some gem prospects.
Well, and the two at the top of the list somewhat surprised me in Braden Shen and Scott Glennie with the Brandon Wheat Kings. Braden, of course, had an outstanding World Junior Hockey Championship. Let's face it, he set a new record or tied one for Team Canada when it comes to points scored in that tournament. However, if I'm Kelly McCrimmon, I may be thinking to myself, you know what, I can get Braden Shen back in my lineup. I can get Scott Glennie in my lineup at the same time, which they haven't been all season with Braden away at Los Angeles Kings camp. I can get these guys in. Maybe I'm adding as opposed to selling. And if I had a goaltender, maybe I can make a splash in the playoffs, similar to what Lethbridge did a couple of years ago. You remember Lucas Sabiza came back from the Philadelphia Flyers, and then also you had Zach Boychuk, who was injured early on that year, didn't play until nearly the trade deadline, and it was an entirely different team, and they were able to upset the #1 seed Saskatoon Blades.
So there are a handful of game breakers, if you want to call them, that we just talked about. There are a handful of experienced WHL blue liners. Every team, it seems, in the league needs defensive help. How about these three guys making an impact somewhere else, possibly?
Well, Matt McKenzie, you have to factor in the leadership that he brings. Ryan Button from the Prince Albert Raiders, he can go ahead and he can definitely quarterback a power play. Brandon Davidson from Regina, I'm not sure that the Pats want to move him. The Pats, of course, have already made a move with Carter Ashton, sending him off to Tri-City. So I'm not sure that maybe he isn't in their plans future-wise down the road for leadership and on that point.
Yeah, kind of a tough change to make for an overager, especially when you just passed the midway point of a season. When you're talking about overagers, there are a handful of players, including one here tonight, that could be on the move, but don't be surprised if some of these teams just keep these guys for the experience factor alone.
Well, that's right, and let's not forget the fact that there still is season to be played. You still have to develop the players in your roster, and that's where you look at overagers. Igor Ravenko going to be a tough one in Prince Albert. I think the Raiders desperately need to make the playoffs this season for their program to move forward. I'd be surprised if he moves. Chris Foucault from Calgary, though, he's a guy that went to the Western Hockey League Championship last year. There's invaluable experience.
And Mike Reddington, an overage defenseman, has played about as many games as a blue liner has played in the WHL in the last 5 years. So who are the buyers? Let's first talk about the teams out here in the Eastern Conference, and I'll tell you what, with the Saskatoon Blades atop the conference right now, you'd have to think that they might want to load up.
Well, you're right. The Saskatoon Blades have been building and building and building, and maybe now is the time. Kootenay, You know what? I think Kootenay is the dark horse right now because they've got the extra picks to play with. The Moose Jaw Warriors also could make some noise as they're poised to get Quentin Howden back. Of course, he was away at the World Juniors as well. So 3 teams right there that could definitely want to make a splash.
The conference that's the most competitive right now, atop the divisional standings in both BC and the U.S. division is out in the West, and boy, could there be some headlines made. There already have been headlines made within the past month out West.
Well, the Portland Winterhawks, they've been going ahead and they've been making the most of with what they have. They've got a number of guys that are drafted. This is the Portland Winterhawks year. That's what they will tell you. They've got 9 guys that have got some pro affiliation. So maybe a defenseman or a goaltender, Spokane, yeah, they could go ahead and they could contend in Tri-City. They just added Carter Ashton, so that's huge, and maybe ready to make another move as well.
All 3 of those teams that we just talked about can score, and they have been scoring in bunches. Tri-City and Spokane especially. Portland's come back to earth a little bit, but I'll tell you what, there could even be a team from the BC division, and the Vancouver Giants have made a handful of trades here, not only to get better for the future, but to get better right now. Could you see maybe a team from British Columbia being a bit of a dark horse on deadline day?
Well, you know, that definitely could happen because the BC division, is wide open in my mind. The Vancouver Giants, yeah, they've got a great track, but the Chilliwack Bruins, who we identified may be ready to make a move, they also may be looking to add a piece or two and maybe see if they can't make a run. So there's not much separation in the teams, which is why it's hard to declare who might be a buyer, who might be a seller.
And there's, as you mentioned, that's in the BC division. In the U.S. division, you've got those teams, Portland, Spokane, Tri-Cities, that are near the top, and Everett and Seattle, who are fighting for playoff positioning just to get above the playoff bar. They might want to load up, but they also in that position might want to be able to dish off a prospect or two.
Well, you're right. The Everett Silvertips, in my mind, might be the team that may be looking to make a move. They've got 7 19-year-olds on their roster right now. You can only keep 3 next year, so maybe you look to make a move. They've played the more games than a lot of teams in the conference. They're in a battle for a spot. There's a couple of names that leap off the page, and Landon Ferraro, who they acquired this year from Red Deer, maybe he's on the move. Maybe even a player like Kellen Hotchkin, of course, signed as a free agent by the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe he won't be there next year. Maybe 2 guys that have some offensive upside that teams might be looking at.
Dave, appreciate your insight. You'll join us in the second intermission for more news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. Thanks for doing this. Don't forget, for up-to-date information, check out that easy-to-remember website, www.whl.ca, for scores, schedules, and anything else you need to know about the best junior hockey league in the world. 1-0, Calgary Hitmen on top of the hometown Swift Current Broncos. Fans of all ages taking this one in. More to come from the iPlex Center next here on Shaw.
Welcome back to the Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current. Kirk Fraser and Jeff Odgers looking back at period number 1 in what was a very fast-paced first period. A lot of action, well played by both teams. Calgary, though, looked like they're really hungry for this one.
Well, they were. Calgary's in the middle of their longest road trip of the year. Swift Current just coming back off their longest. I thought both teams had a lot of energy, didn't make a lot of mistakes, but you're right. Calgary was very sharp in their positioning, getting pucks deep, and especially on the forecheck. And
Justin Kirsch is the goal scorer, the top point getter for the Calgary Hitmen this season.
Well, he is, and he does a lot of little things. He had chances all game long, especially in the first period. Here, he just knows where to go. He goes to the net, a little bit of a bouncing puck off of a half deflection, and he's able to swing around and put that in. Okay. He just came in off a 7-game point streak prior to this game. He knows where to be. Very effective. And defenseman for the Calgary Hitmen, I thought there's Roach there, just one example of them heads up, getting shots through, and Calgary doing the little things, going to the net, lots of pressure, creating traffic in front of one of the best goalies in the league, Mark Friesen.
When you're 9 points out of a playoff spot, you got to get a couple of bounces to go your way, and that was a fortunate bounce right there with that chance. And Justin Kirsch, right place, right time to sweep that in, and that is the only goal thus far in this hockey game. Let's go down to ice level. Dave Thomas is standing by with the head coach of the Calgary Hitmen.
Mike Williamson, the energy and physicality that your team brought in the opening 20 minutes obviously should put a smile on your face, I'd have to think.
Yeah, I thought our guys were pretty hungry at the start. We got pucks in deep and got on the forecheck, and that was our game plan.
Penalty kill, you kill off 2 big ones right at the start of the game.
Yeah, we got to stay out of the box. We know they've got a good power play, and I thought our goalie came up really big on those kills.
And what's the key then for the final 40 for your team?
Well, just making sure that everybody's on board and we keep that intensity.
Coach, thanks for this.
Thanks.
Mike Williamson, head coach of the Calgary Hitmen, downstairs. We'll go back upstairs and rejoin Kirk Fraser.
11-19, check that. 11-16 was the time of the goal by Justin Kirsch, his 19th from Foucault and Roach, giving Calgary the 1-0 lead, and that is where we are at as we get period number 2 underway. Swift Current in their home whites, Calgary in their road blacks. As Verdino dumps it into the forecheck, slams Kosterman hard into the inboards. Wagner on the loose puck. A spin away from McKenzie. Fisenko goes down, looks after Wagner, but Wagner keeps going. Left wing side, throws one to the net. Snyder has to be sharp, and he lunges out at the rebound with Vaz and Andy Blank there in there as well.
You know, the start of the first period was a Calgary Hitmen. They're able to get pucks in deep, get in the forecheck. Swift Current Broncos want to get exactly the same thing done here. Comes in on the forecheck. Verdino in the defensive zone, takes his man out hard, sending a message. You know what? You guys can take the body. So can we.
Kyle Verdino's got a little bit of size on his side as well. 6 feet, 210 pounds, 2 goals and 13 assists. Sorry, 2 goals and 11 assists this season for 13 points. Suffered a wrist injury early on. He's back in the Bronco lineup.
You know, that 19 years old, he's the oldest one back there on the defense. He's the only 19-year-old. The rest of them all 18 years of age or younger.
Dalton Riem, wearing number 3 for the Broncos, on the ice right now. He had just come over from the Vancouver Giants in a trade which saw Joel Rogers, one of their other veteran defensemen, go the other way. So the face-off to the right of the right-hand catching Michael Snyder. Broncos come up with it again. Lowry on the right wing boards. Spins it down to Cameron. Lets it go for Dowling. Puck knocked free, and here is Schultz for Calgary. Up to the line, and Evans able to just hold it in. Bounces one to Snyder, and he'll have to hold on to that. And right now it looks like it's a territorial second period for Swift Current.
What is in that line of Cameron, Dowling, and Lowry? Been very effective all that first period. Very good in the forecheck. And we heard Trevor Cameron talking about his interview before the game started, playing with those guys, getting opportunities. Played 4 games for the Swift Current Broncos, got 3 goals. You can see why this line has some chemistry going.
Lowry, Cameron, and Dowling remain out here for Swift Current. Kirsch and Sylvester and McMaster for Calgary as the Broncos send a shot from the right point towards the goal. Riem couldn't get that through. Dowling lets it go to the line. Evans couldn't get to it. Justin Kirsch trying to fly down ice and pick it up, but Riem able to get there first.
Riem with a nice job on the read, realizing his partner was pinching. He starts backpedaling, able to break up that potential 2-on-1.
Riem again on the right wing side. The 18-year-old rookie from Camrose, Alberta will shoot that in, go off on a line change. As Calgary starts to push it ahead, Jaden Risling will lift that in. Craig is back for Swift Current, up the boards. Good pinch by Looning, but following up is Novotny. Unable to get it out of the zone, and it's whistled down on a hand pass against Calgary, so we'll take the face-off outside the Swift Current line. Just 2 minutes gone here in this second period. And Jeff, want to get your thoughts on what some of the points the guys between periods are making, what Joe and Dave were talking about the trades and who's available, who's maybe available, who's buying, who's selling. What were you thinking of all that?
Well, I think when you look at the Brandon Weekend, I think what they've done last year with their run to the playoffs, I think they need to rebuild a bit. I think for a guy like Braden Shen, if you keep him and his partner there and you only get to the first round, you can't afford not to take the draft picks and the prospects you're going to get for those guys. I think those, you know, in Brandon's case, those guys have got to be moved.
Kind of taking a lesson from the Regina Pats a year ago. They elected to hold on to guys like Eberle and Tubert, and there were a lot of people who weren't really too keen on that in terms of the way to build a franchise. Certainly loyalty is an excellent thing to have, but Regina, they were under some heat for not moving players of that caliber last year, so maybe Brandon's in that position. They're looking at that and thinking about it.
You know, and the bar's been set. You look at the Carter Ashton trade, what was able to get there. That's a lot not to get for next year and the next 2 to 3 years.
I think Craig Cunningham going from Vancouver to Portland, Thomas Frazee going from Regina to Kamloops. Teams could very well, stock the draft cupboard, as it were, if they're able to move some of their high-end game breakers. And Brandon certainly with 2 of them, and Scott Glennie and Braden Shen. And how about Cody Eakin here in Swift Current? May he have already played his final game as a Swift Current Bronco? That's up for debate, isn't it?
Very much so. Personally, I think he has.
You think Cody Eakin's going to be in a different uniform color by the 11th of January?
No, I really believe he will. I think he's a game breaker. He's one of the few guys that has that ability as a threat all the time.
Well, here's a threat for Calgary. Justin Kirsch swings one through the slot. Couldn't hook up with either McMaster or Sylvester. Now it's Kirsch again. Shot deflects in behind the net and alertly taken by Verdino. Gave it away. Here's Sylvester. Backhands one on goal, and Friesen comes up with a glove save. And how about that play by Cody Sylvester to knock that pass out of midair and get that scoring chance?
Well, this Calgary Hitmen team, they have not scored a lot of goals this year, but they are finding their stride. And if you're going to make turnovers like this, you're tempting fate right here, because you're taking your goaltender Mark Friesen, making him step up. This play here cannot go up the middle. That has to go off the boards and out. Swift Current Broncos hockey, that's where that has to go.
Since his injury, an ankle injury, Cody Sylvester has a goal and an assist in the 3 games. He's returning, 11 goals and 22 points on the season. Swift Current able to get that puck down into Calgary territory. McKenzie pounds that back ahead, and here's Danny Gale. Sends one in for Foucault. Shipped to the corner. Adam Lowry leaning on Foucault. Trying to work the puck back around the net. Does so for Graham Craig. Broncos unable to clear the zone. Good forecheck again by Gale and Foucault. Ben Wilson goes in to help. Craig slams into him, but Gale's on the puck. Feeds Looning to McKenzie. Back to Looning. One-timer that hits Friesen. Rebound is loose and knocked in front. Dowling, good position. Knocks it away, and Lowry unable to clear the zone. Dowling will try again. Spinning puck finally gets it to settle down. And Swift Current breaks out of their own zone. Lead pass. Lowry trying to move in. Has a chance. Shot on, but Snyder there to make a good stop. And the puck goes out of play.
Calgary Hitmen with some great pressure down in the Swift Current end. That line of Gale, Foucault doing some great work down low, creating a lot of pressure, creating some scoring chances, doing what they do best. Here we see Danny Gale with a great opportunity to bank that in. Just missed. Dowling doing a nice job, composing himself, putting the glove, put it down, shooting it down.
The reaction there would be to tense up and try and do something with the puck, but Dowling just kind of let it come to him and made a nice play to get it out of the crease. Heads up play by Gale and by Dowling on that play.
Well, the last time we seen Gale was actually his first game here on Shaw for the Calgary Hitmen, coming over the Moose Straw Warriors. What a game he had. A goal and 2 assists in his first game for the Calgary Hitmen.
Hitmen at center. Misha Fisenko. A little bit of room to work in across the line. Trying to little toe drag around the defense. Penalty upcoming here against Swift Current. Roach a shot deflects just wide. And the puck touched by Evans in the corner, and Calgary is going to go on their second power play of the hockey game as Andy Thiessen nails the Broncos for a transgression. And again, it's too many men on the ice. This time, it's against Swift Current. Calgary did so earlier in the hockey game.
Well, those penalties, both teams taking one, they absolutely drive you crazy as a coach. You're supposed to know who you're up for next. It's 95% of the time, the players are supposed to know who's on the ice, who they're changing for, and it's just one of those penalties that usually ends up in your net when you're trying to kill it off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out there for the Broncos. And Calgary a chance to extend their lead. And Trevor Cameron goes off to serve the 2 minutes. Calgary 0 for 1 on the power play thus far in the hockey game. McKenzie up ice for McMaster, but he can't handle that. Novotny sends it in. He's out there with Dowling, Scarlett, and Verdino on the penalty kill for the Broncos. They've had a good penalty kill this season, 4th in the Western Hockey League at 84.5%. Hitmen, though, get it in front. McMaster stopped point blank as Friesen took the bottom half of the net away. McKenzie leaves for Fisenko, right corner. Former Vancouver Giant unable to move it in front, and Swift Current able to clear it all the way down the ice. Justin Kirsch, 8 power play goals to lead Calgary. Chris Foucault, Jimmy Bubnick, each with 6. They have accounted for over half of the Calgary power play goals this season, 20 of the 39. Ben Wilson trying to elude Taylor Vaz at his own line, and does. Now scoots in, lets a shot go. That's turned away by Friesen. Scarlett trying to clear the zone, but held in by Fiddler. He'll skate it down behind the net. Prince Albert product, Tyler Fiddler around the net. Works it back down to Wilson. In for Kirsch, and a penalty upcoming here. It's going to be against Calgary. Jimmy Bubnick is going to go off for interference. I believe he's going to get nailed for whacking the stick out of the hands of Taylor Vaz.
Well, either whacking the stick out of his hands or shooting it after it was on the ice. One of the two is going to be the call. But either way, not a very smart penalty to take right there when you're on the power play.
Well, Jimmy Bubnick, the Saskatoon product, Atlanta Thrasher draft choice, will head to the box, and we're on 4-on-4 now for 42 seconds. At which point Swift Current will go on their third power play, but some room to work. But now Calgary's on it. Nathan McMaster, good speed, hopping in, drops it, McKenzie shoots, and he puts it over the net. Fisenko trying to corral a rebound, but it gets away on him. Regroups though in the corner, moves to the slot. Throws it down in deep. Dalton Riem is there. Able to get it away from the pressure, and Jordan Evans is on that. Hemmed in by Schmidt. Then knocked down by McMaster. And Dowling will go to that. 13 seconds to go in the 4-on-4 as Novotny's angled back by Foucault. Stepan Novotny. Little leave for Justin Dowling. And the Cochrane Alberta product gets it in. Novotny jams it down the boards. Dowling trying to get there first, but the Hitman able to get that and clear. With 1:10 to go in the penalty against Jimmy Bubnick.
Chris Foucault, hardest working player on the ice so far for the Calgary Hitmen, or Swift Current Broncos for that matter, has not stopped moving his feet all game.
20-year-old Calgarian, 13 goals, 24 points, but the Broncos are in. Centering pass from Hoban. Couldn't get a redirect in front. Now Scarlett at the right side, hammered by Kirsch, gets it in deep. Vaz is there. Lays it around for Brad Hoban. Verdino on the pinch. Puck bounces free, and away comes Calgary. Kirsch fell, but gets back up, joined by Gale. Wrist shot off a stick, and that's out of play just over top of the glass and behind goaltender Mark Friesen.
Take a look here at Justin Kirsch, who's had a lot of great scoring opportunities himself. Here's Chris Foucault. Been moving his feet all night, been relentless on the forecheck, on the penalty kill, 5-on-5. He's not stopped. He has definitely been an example. Mike Williamson this morning talked about guys being professional. There's your example right there of what you want out of a team. Last place or not, that's how you play. That's how you compete every night.
Going to work himself back into some offensive production is Chris Foucault. Had a 5-game goal streak on the go, but then in his last 8 games, he's had just 1 goal. But certainly not from lack of efforts tonight so far.
You know, and guys go either way with that. You get in a slump like that, you kind of slump your shoulders, not compete, or you do what Chris Foucault does.
Turnover, Fiddler just misses high stick side after the Broncos cough it up. That would have been a shorthanded goal as well. Bubnick set to come out of the box. It's Verdino trying to skate it into the Calgary zone, but held up by Fisenko. Swift Current dumps it in, and Roach is back on that for Calgary. Fisenko hammered by Lowry, and Alex Roach will try again. 21 points in 40 games last year in the BC Major Midget League with the Caribou Cougars. As Fisenko defers back for Alex Roach. Shovels that at center, right to Andy Blank, trying to poke it through. It gets to the goal, and Snyder hops on that with Blank and Cameron looking for a loose puck, and a small crowd gathers. Tyler Fiddler, what a great shorthanded chance he just about made good on.
Oh, and here we take out some good pressure from Calgary. Bad decision there by Verdino, and almost a great scoring chance. Well, it was a great scoring chance by Fiddler. Good hustle out from behind the goal line. Takes 2 steps towards the slot. Goes top shelf.
I think
Mark Friesen says no thank you.
I think Verdino may have even gotten a piece of that one as well. Looked like it changed direction off the stick. So Calgary that close. Now another penalty coming up. This will be against Calgary. A hooking call. And Swift Current's power play will get another opportunity. Their 4th now of the hockey game.
Now early in that first period, Michael Snyder, the reason why the Swift Current Broncos had not scored in the power, Calgary Hitmen. I don't think you want to give this Swift Current power play that many more chances, especially on an offensive draw like that.
Right off the face-off, a little hook there on Andy Blank, and Looning is in the box. Swift Current's power play, 13th in the Western Hockey League. Calgary's penalty kill is ranked 19th. And much like Calgary, the Bronco power play production has been led by 3 players. Justin Dowling with 6 power play goals. Vaz and Novotny with 6 each. They've accounted for 19 of the 38 Bronco power play goals this season. So Broncos trying to set it up in the offensive zone, but Calgary breaks it down quickly, and they'll fire it back down the ice. Shots are 14 apiece thus far in the hockey game, nearing the midpoint of period 2. Still 1-0 Calgary. Justin Kirsch the only goal. Dylan Wagner trying to muscle in for Swift Current, but the Broncos forced back by Calgary one more time. Foucault reels in Scarlett, trying to win the puck right in front of the Bronco bench. Boy, how about that shift for Chris Foucault? That's fantastic.
It's been like that all night, all the time.
And here he comes again, short-handed. Broncos in numbers trying to get back, but they cannot control Chris Foucault. Hands it down to Danny Gale. He'll scoot around the net and bank that back to center for Ben Wilson. Rink wide for Foucault. Curls at the red line. Does a little reverse, now skates in. This is a tremendous penalty killing shift by Chris Foucault, and he'll head off for a well-deserved line change.
Ben Wilson goes back to the point to play defense for the PK. Been up at center and defense also, doing an excellent job in both.
Meanwhile, Swift Current's down to 30 seconds to go in the power play, and all they can do is shoot it in and then chase it back down into their own end. This power play has not been able to get on track, mainly thanks to some good penalty killing by Calgary. And here they are again. Sylvester just about came up with a turnover, but Brad Hoban able to come up with that. Now Evans, good lead pass. Taylor Voss trying to get him on Roach and puts a one-handed shot on Snyder, who makes the stop. Four-man pile in behind the Calgary net. Lowry digs it free, scores! Adam Lowry at the tail end of the power play ties the game at 1.
The Swift Broncos not really to generate much pressure, all power play. Calgary Hitmen very good at being very aggressive, making them have turnovers, not set up. And it was just a quick turnover in the corner where Adam Lowry takes advantage, uses his size and strength, walks out and stuffs this one in. Nothing pretty about this one, just good work. 3 Swift Current Broncos down, takes one step over the goal line, and that's one that I believe Michael Snyder would like to have back.
That won't be a power play goal, as it came with 1 second after the expiration of the penalty to Brody Looning. So we are looking at a tie hockey game with 29 minutes to play.
Nice quick hands by Adam Lowry on that one also.
You don't think those big guys have those quick hands at 6'4", 185. Yeah, pretty deft at the side of the net there.
Believe me, everything is quick out there.
So Calgary trying to get it into the Swift Current zone. Shot in behind the net. Bubnik leaned on by Scarlett. Cycled for Carter Berg, down to Misha Fisenko. Spins off the check of Taylor Voss, centers. Bubnik backhands one in front. Stop, rebound, whacked wide by Berg. Trying to put it back in front, but that's blocked, and Taylor Voss is on that for the Broncos. Left wing pass and a good one to Andy Blank, the local kid. Sends one on Snyder, makes the stop. Rebound taken away by McKenzie. He'll head man for Santini. 17-year-old Calgary product, centering pass, had it blocked. He'll get it again. Throws down to Foucault. Off the right wing boards, in front, backhander blocked and knocked away by Ariam. And relayed to Blank, he'll get it to center. Gets the red line, chips it into the offensive zone. But Brendan Santini able to bang that out and then knocked out of play by Chris Foucault. 7:58 to go in the second period. It's a 1-1 game thanks to this goal by Adam Lowry, his 11th of the year, and the Broncos look at a 1-1 tie here in the second period.
We're all tied up at 1. General manager and head coach of the Swift Current Broncos, Mark Lamb, joins me. Mark, your thoughts on your team's play thus far in the hockey game?
Well, I haven't liked how we played at all. I think we haven't been winning any of the battles at all. I think they've been taking it to us. We're not working hard enough. We're lucky to get right back in this game right now. It's 1-1, but we got to pick it up.
Now the power play 0 for 4 right now. You score the tail end of the last one. What hasn't been working?
Well, we're just getting outworked everywhere. You can see they were ragging the puck a couple times in those power plays, and that's a work ethic issue. Like I said, we just got to pick it up. We're right in this game right now, but we got to pick it up.
Mark, thanks so much for this. Best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
General manager and head coach Mark Lamb, as we'll head upstairs to you guys.
Jeff, is that a fair assessment from the head coach?
Well, I believe so. We both talked about the work ethic the Calgary Hitmen had, the relentless pursuit of the puck, and that has to be matched. When you're playing the power play, you have to work as hard as the penalty killers you're out there against. And Mark Lamb's right. The Swift Current Broncos aren't working as hard as the Calgary Hitmen on the power play.
So here they go. Trevor Cameron out there with Justin Dowling and Adam Lowry. They were in on that first goal. Lowry just scored before the break. 1-1 game here as Calgary breaks down the Swift Current offense and once again jammed into the Calgary bench, and Mike Williamson and Darcy Wakaluk both ducking for cover.
Well, there's been a bit of ducking going on out here in this game so far. Both teams come out very physical. We talked about both being on the road or coming off road trips, but not shy to take the body. Good battles down low. Offensively, teams getting pucks in deep, which is allowed for an awful opportunities for the defensemen to come in and make big hits, but both teams competing very hard down below the goal line, and ultimately that's where this game is going to be won.
Calgary ahead at center. Delayed offside as Danny Gale was trapped in across the line, and Chris Foucault slow to get up. He was shaken up in that traffic, and he'll head off for a line change. Doubled over. That would be a tough loss for Calgary. Chris Foucault wincing as he takes a seat on the bench. Will McMillan will have a look at him as the Broncos trying to get offense going. Hoban in front for Novotny. That just about clicked. Hedl on the right wing. That is shoot in down the boards, blocked, and comes to the line. Nedemlau let one go. Now Novotny lets fly with an awkward shot that came up over top of the net. Calgary clears the rebound. Jordan Hedl is there. He'll lift the shoot in deep in behind the Calgary goal.
Now there's a shift right there for the Swift Current Broncos, forcing a couple turnovers, get pucks in deep, get a couple hits. Now we'll see if they come back with another like that, start building up momentum physically, start taking this game back over from the Calgary Hitmen.
Swift Current employing the 1-2-2 here as Bubnik gets as far as the Swift Current line. Calgary shoots it in, Friesen out of his net. Former Chilliwack Bruin around for Kyle Verdino. He's hammered from behind by Bubnik, and Devin Klein's going to signal a penalty against Bubnik, and then Dylan Wagner grabs a hold of Bubnik and wants to take care of matters himself, standing up for his teammate. Teammate looks to be all right, but Jimmy Bubnik going to the box, and maybe Wagner will be going as well.
No, and Wagner immediately comes in there. When you look at that, gets hit from behind. Verdino turns his back on the play. When he comes to make the spinner on Bubnik, commits to the hit, takes him from behind. Dylan Wagner immediately comes in, maybe trying to get a spark, send a message to the team. Hey guys, let's get things going here. Let's match him physically. Let's get at him.
Kyle Verdino was the man fouled on that particular infraction.
Dylan Wagner's got to be careful. Once the linesman grab a hold of you like that, you have to know enough to stop trying to get free and get another punch in. Start throwing linesmen around, tend to get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, they don't like that very much, do they?
They frown upon that, and so does the league, actually.
Yeah, you could get yourself into a world of trouble, and that'll be a topic of conversation coming up in our second period. The suspension handed down by the Western Hockey League. We're going to have a look at this one again. Verdino laying a little backhand spin pass down the boards, and as he was turning, Bubnik came over and drilled him.
You know, and that's a tough play right there. You're about 2 feet from the boards, and you're on your forehand, and then you just automatically spin to your backhand and put yourselves in a vulnerable position. Jimmy Bubnik's coming in. He's already committed to that hit. That's a decision you got to make in like 0.3 seconds to not make that hit. Sometimes, as a player, you put yourself in a position that you shouldn't.
Well, Dylan Wagner took the extra minor in that little fracas. So Swift Current short-handed. Fisenko pass in front, looking for a redirect, couldn't get it. Foucault left point. Pass is blocked. McKenzie has to hurry. Novotny bearing down on him on the forecheck. So Fisenko, McKenzie, Foucault, McMaster, and Sylvester. The power play for Calgary. The Bronco penalty kill. Dowling and Novotny up front. They'll head off on a change, actually. Hoban comes out with Vaz. Scarlett and Evans are the defensemen. Calgary in. Ben Wilson with a good shoot in. Fiddler now on the forecheck, but Friesen able to play it around the boards. Whacking at its Hoban. Can't get a handle. Fiddler now. High slot. Right wing to McKenzie. Pass to Kirsch in front. Into traffic, and that ricochets wide. Kirsch again, right corner. Works to the hash marks. Pass in front. Off a stick far side. Good hustle by Danny Gale to get there. Wilson blows a tire. Here's a chance for Swift Current. Hoban and Vaz, 2-on-3. Hoban to Vaz. Can't tuck it in, but a penalty here against Calgary upcoming.
Well, Ben Wilson did get a penalty, but what a great effort he has by getting back after he falls down to get back and interfere for the shot against.
So that will take Calgary off the power play. They'll go 0 for 3 on the night, and it is Ben Wilson heading to the box will play another set of 4-on-4, this time for 39 seconds, and then Swift Current back in the power play. Here's that chance.
No, and Ben Wilson, he just puts his head down and he gets back as hard as he can, and he gets his stick in the lane just enough to kind of interfere with the shooter. Takes a penalty, but that's a penalty he'll take. There's some good penalties, there's some bad penalties. That's a good penalty for Ben Wilson.
Anytime you break up a scoring chance, right? That would be defined as a good penalty. No matter what you do, you break up a potential goal.
Well, it would, you know, and you want to do it in a perfect world. Yes, you do it so you interfere with the play. You don't take the penalty, but sometimes it's inevitable. And right there, Ben Wilson, no problem with that penalty whatsoever.
Little discussion going on at the Swift Current bench. Dave Thomas is downstairs with an update.
While Taylor Voss in that last skirmish received a double minor for roughing, the Broncos didn't put anybody in the box to serve the extra minor penalty. So had that penalty expired, the Broncos wouldn't have been able to go ahead and put anyone on the ice until the full 4 minutes were up to Taylor Voss. The off-ice official brought that to the attention of the referees, and they've gone ahead and put someone in the box now. So all is well at the ice surface level.
Well, someone's paying attention downstairs. Good job, Dave. Got a catch on that one. So 4-on-4 as Swift Current breaks ahead. Dowling hammers on the brakes to get some space against Luning. Pass across, Verdino. Top of the circle, back in front for Novotny. That doesn't connect. Foucault on the ice, takes the pass, left wing. Big shot, and Friesen well out makes the stop. And calmly flipped to center on the rebound by Reese Scarlett. Brad Hoban chases down the loose puck. Had a man open in front. Didn't realize it at the time. Would have been wide open. Power play in effect for Swift Current. Scarlett shot blocked with a glove hand. Brody Luning got in the way of that one. And now up comes McMaster shorthanded. Can't penetrate that picket fence of Broncos in front of the net. And Swift Current will regroup halfway through this power play. Not quite halfway, but 50 seconds to go. Shots now 20-15 Broncos as the second period ticks along. Snyder able to clear it up the boards, and there's Danny Gale. Good speed to the Bronco line. Throws it in around the net. Dalton Riem will get there. He'll start things ahead. Pass for Taylor Voss. Their Calgary product has a pair of 2-goal games this season. Working it down low with Lowry and Peddle gets drilled from behind. Scoring chance for the Broncos just goes by the wayside. And Swift Current might be wise to hand Calgary the puck. They'll go 2 men up, but here's Voss, shoots! Great stop by Snyder. Gets his own rebound. Feeds Evans. Across for Riem. Again to Evans. Fakes, feeds, Voss, misfires in the one-timer. Puck touched by McKenzie. And it's once again to the penalty box for the Calgary Hitmen.
You know, you make the play. It's always a tough play to know what to do there, to put yourself into a 5-on-3 to give the other team the puck, or to go for a scoring chance. Swift Current Broncos elect to go for the cross-crease pass, comes across, and a great opportunity for Taylor Voss, unable to put it over the shoulder of Michael Snyder.
So it'll be 3 seconds of 5-on-3, and that really works out to about 5 or 6 seconds. And that's enough time to score a goal with an offensive zone faceoff. But the puck is dropped and won by Calgary. So much for the 5-on-3. Fiddler will skate that to the Swift Current line. And then Novotny turns it over. Fiddler with a great backhand chance. And Friesen, an even better stop. Big collision right at the Calgary bench. Fiddler tried to lay into Scarlett but missed. Dowling's now in for Swift Current. Bronco captain defers to Scarlett. Back to Dowling. Hanging on. Hands it off to Cameron to the line. Verdino a shot. That's off a stick and out of play.
The Swift Current Broncos having some challenges in their own end. This time it's going to be Novotny. You're on the power play. Puck bounces over his stick. Very good opportunity for a pretty dangerous player in Fiddler. Swift Current Broncos, I know that when there's a bouncing puck, a little more urgency in their game. Handling the puck, a little better puck management in their own end. Can't give as many turnovers as they've been giving.
Tyler Fiddler 1 point away from 100 in his WHL career. Just about got it there. Bronco power play trying to break this 1-1 deadlock late in the second period. Dowling down low working against Wilson. Shovel to the line. Evans nicely holds it in. Hands it back to Dowling. Again to Evans. Some traffic in front. Fires. That's off of Wilson. Here's a chance for Dino. Hammers one on goal and stopped by Snyder. Evans again. High slot. Verdino misfires, and Fisenko will get that. and hands it up for Bubnik. Short-handed, one man back. Bubnik gonna flip it in front. Took a funny bounce, gets it again. Tees one up, Fisenko shoots, and Friesen got a glove on that. Voss on that for Swift Current. Hands off to Evans with 40 seconds to go in this power play. Lead pass for Brad Hoban. Victoria BC product dumps it in. Looning for Calgary, able to clear. Dalton Riem fires one in. Snyder sets it down. Schultz is there, pounds it around the glass, held in by Scarlett. Gives to Novotny with room as Santini fell. Novotny shoots, stop, rebound, traffic in front. They whack at it, and it's taken away by Santini. Sends it off the boards and out to center. That'll do it for this Swift Current power play. Broncos are 0 for 6 on the power play in this hockey game.
A great opportunity for him there. Santini fell down, did a nice job of getting back into the slot, actually picking up the puck and shooting it out.
Calgary ahead late in this second period. Nathan McMaster trying to move it into the offensive zone, but it's now quickly taken by Swift Current. Jordan Peddle gathering speed, and then he's reeled in by Sylvester. Puck at the line, it's out across the line. Verdino firing it in. Delayed offside. Blank's gonna get to it though on the tag up offside. Andy Blank to Jordan Peddle. Chips it to Verdino in the dying seconds. Wrist shot through to Snyder, and he'll hold on.
Michael Snyder with another save, doing an excellent job of staying square and finding those pucks coming through from the point shot. Swift Current here able to generate some chances. There's Novotny with a great shot. Snyder staying square, taking that off the shoulder. Scramble in front. Always hard when you're a defensive team on the penalty kill. The puck goes by off the goaltender. You have to turn around, find the puck, to locate, to shoot it down. The offensive team coming in, they've seen the puck the whole time. They're able to watch it come off the goalie's shoulder, goalie's pads, and go directly to the rebound.
So one offensive chance left here for Swift Current in this second period. Face off to the glove right of Michael Snyder. Calgary center and Misha Fisenko getting the boot out of the face-off circle, so Jimmy Bubnik will square off against Andy Blank. Mentioned the local kid, 18-year-old, wins the draw. Scarlett across for Dino, a shot. That sails over top of the net. Jimmy Bubnik takes a peek at the clock, trying to kill the clock with the puck battle along the near boards, and does just that. Shots in this period, 15-9 in favor of Swift Current. They get the only goal. Mark Friesen stopping all the shots. Adam Lowry with the goal. It's 1-1 after 2 here in Swift Current.
We're not at a 1 after 2 periods of play. The Swift Current Broncos and Calgary Hitmen tonight here in Swift Current. Brad Hoban got an assist on that goal. Tell me about it.
It was just late in the power play there. Me and Voss were digging down low, and we had 2 D-men trapped, and puck popped out there to Lowry, and he was just able to tuck it in.
This is just your second home game since December the 3rd. What does it mean being back in this building?
It makes it a lot easier to play at home. You got the family side, you don't have to travel, you can prepare better. It's definitely an advantage.
Now, obviously, media types like me, we love this time of year because, of course, the trade deadline is coming up. What's it like from a player's perspective? Do you even think about it?
It's always kind of in the back of your mind. I know trade deadline's kind of a hectic time of the year. What are you going to do? Are you selling, buying? We kind of just got to wait and find out on the 10th there.
Now, as you go forward in this hockey game, what do you need to do to find 2 points that are crucial here to you in the Eastern Conference?
We just got to work harder. We're getting out-battled there, especially on our power play. They gave us lots of chances to bury 2 or 3 there on our power play, but we just weren't winning battles.
And that's the key, obviously, getting that power play going.
Yeah, getting the power play going is going to win us this game.
Brad, thanks so much for this. All the best in the 3rd period.
Thank you.
Brad Hoban of the Swift Current Broncos, our guest after 40 minutes of play tonight. We're tied at 1, the Calgary Hitmen and Swift Current Broncos, as we're going to send it over to WHL Central and Joey Kenward.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. There you see the longtime mascot of the Swift Current Broncos, Charlie Horse, with one of his buddies here in our second intermission break. 1-1 the score between Swift Current and the Calgary Hitmen. Joey Kenward back live on location here at the Credit Union iPlex. Joining me now is Memorial Cup hero and a hometown hero. Tim Tisdale was a one-time member of the Swift Current Broncos, helped his team in 1989 capture Canada's national junior hockey crown. He now is currently the general manager of the Swift Current Legionnaires, which is their AAA midget hockey club. First of all, thanks very much for joining us. Never a dull moment here to be back in the ring for you, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's always enjoyable, especially now. The facilities changed so much since when we played, and to see what it's really become here and how the city's sort of embraced change.
I want to talk about that in a minute, but you talk about your time here in Swift Current, and you're a Swift Current kid, born and raised here in Southwest Saskatchewan. What did it mean to you growing up watching junior hockey to eventually one day play major junior hockey here in your hometown?
Well, I think that's what every kid wants, to play. If you have a junior team in your town, no matter what level it is, junior A or the Western League, you want to be part of that, and that's everything we're striving for. And again, we sort of lost our junior team when I was young, so we had a junior A team and had an opportunity to play a little bit with them in a midget. And then when the team was finally announced in '86, I was one of the first trades they made to come over. Never played in Kamloops, but I was their property.
Then you were a part of a dynasty team, it seemed like. Numerous players that went on to great success in the National Hockey League started their trade here in the WHL with the Swift Current Broncos. Did you have any idea back then that the players that were amassed for a couple of years would be such a special group that would bring about success to this community?
Well, I don't think so. When you're playing there, and I'm not sure you're going to get a great appreciation for it. Joe Sakic was obvious. When he came in as a 17-year-old, he was dominant, and you could tell that he was going to play for a long time. Outside of that, though, we had some young guys like a Jeff Sanderton. He was only a 16-year-old when I was 20. He really didn't know where he was going to go, but he ended up with a great career. And we had Sheldon Kennedy, who was so dynamic and exciting to watch, and just a really skilled hockey team. You go right through the lineup. I think there was a 50-goal scorer on the third line. So there was just so much depth, but the game's changed a lot since then as well.
You were the game-winning overtime hero for the Swift Current Broncos in 1989 in Saskatoon. In overtime. Just go back what that moment must felt like and what it feels like when you look back on it so many years now.
Yeah, it's been 20 years, I guess, over 20 years now, so it has been a long time, but it's something that the community remembers, and I think that's what I remember the most is the reaction you still get 20 years later. People say they watch that game every single year, and it wasn't until our 20-year reunion that I actually watched the game and throughout anyway, and just to have that opportunity to play, but the team we had, we really deserved to go 12-0 through the Western League playoffs. For us not to win would have really been a letdown for everyone, and to go into overtime against the host team in their building, and just a tremendous feeling. And again, it wasn't a pretty goal by any means in the right spot and get a deflection on it, but that's our team was about opportunities, and our skilled defensemen just made plays to make the forwards look really good.
I moved here to do play-by-play for the Broncos in 2000, was here for 3 seasons, but coming back to this rink, it just seems like a brand new organization. Talk about what those on and off the ice have done to help keep this product here in Southwest Saskatchewan.
Well, it's a huge task. When you're talking a community of about 16,000 people, to be able to maintain a Western League franchise takes a lot of work. So the off-ice volunteers they have, they've been here probably longer than I have. From the original days, you still see a lot of those same people volunteering. To get billets in a community like this is always a task. So there's a lot of work, but we've our GMs, our coaches that have been through have all recognized what the market's all about. They don't have that year where, hey, we're going to trade some young guys and go make a run for it, because you can't afford to have a couple down years in a row here in a market like this. They got a little spoiled early on, winning a Memorial Cup in '89, winning another league championship a few years later. Winning came pretty easy to this, and all of a sudden the expectations are there.
Tim, we've run out of time. Greatly appreciate you joining us here for a nice trip down memory lane. Enjoy the rest of tonight's game, and good luck to you and your midget team in the rest of the winter.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Tim Tisdale, Memorial Cup hero for the Swift Current Broncos. Swift Current boy as well, joining us here in our intermission. There's a look at the reigning WHL Player of the Week. Austin Fighton of the Lethbridge Hurricanes put up 4 goals and 6 assists, padding his point totals to 30 on the year, and a pretty impressive plus-minus rating on the year as well at +11. More to come in our second intermission break. It is the Broncos won, the Hitmen won. You're watching WHL Hockey live here on Shaw. Swift Current Broncos, Adam Lowry with his 11th. Calgary Hitmen forward Justin Kirsch with his 19th has these two teams tied 1-1 after 40 minutes of play at the Credit Union Iplex. Welcome back to Swift Current Saskatchewan. Joey Kenward alongside Dave Thomas for another installment of Inside the Western Hockey League. The second longest suspension in the WHL was just handed down this week. Dave, you saw it live in person. I'm sure most of our viewers have yet to see it. And this was a penalty, I think, that shouldn't come as a surprise to Josh Cowan of the Red Deer Rebels for an incident New Year's Day in Saskatoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Moments before this, Landon Ferraro, or pardon me, it was a big scrap with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in his own zone, and now we're going to see Josh Cowan with some retaliation comes right across the ice and lowers the boom on Stefan Elliott of the Saskatoon Blades. So it was one event that precipitated the other. Josh Cowan took some liberties with the Blade Star player, and he's felt the wrath of Richard Dirksen and the WHL brass this week. 8 games is what Cowan gets. He was also suspended last year in that building in the playoffs for a 4-game period for running the goaltender on a major penalty for charging. So not a friendly building for Cowan or the Rebels. It's interesting, all the ramifications about how this came about, isn't it, when we chatted with the VP of the WHL, Richard Dirksen, earlier this morning. Yeah, Mr. Dirksen granted us some time to get into his mind and find out what happened. So he sees the video that is submitted to him after a major penalty, which is done in each and every game. He reviews the video. He sees it, then he contacts the player to find out what happens, and then he lowers the boom. And the good thing, I guess, when it all came down is that Stefan Elliott's health hasn't been affected. He didn't suffer a severe injury. If that had happened, it might have changed the way that Josh Cowan's suspension happened. Well, I don't think there's any question about that. 8 games for an attempt to injure, which is what it was. Cowan going after an unsuspecting player in Stefan Elliott. That was the penalty served. But can you imagine if Stefan Elliott had been seriously injured in that play? We're probably talking a minimum double-digit suspension, but how high? Well, that would have probably been the million-dollar question. Well, you're right. And I guess the best case scenario is that, you know, it was an ugly incident. I was there live. I was actually there with some young hockey players. And at the time, to me, it didn't seem as bad as it was. You could see there was retaliation happening. You could hear the benches chirping at one another after the original scrap, which happened again moments before that with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Lucas Sutter. The Red Deer Rebels felt some liberties were taken with them, hence the response from Josh Cowan. Not a proper response, which he acknowledges, as do the Red Deer Rebels right now. But again, at the time, it didn't seem that bad. But when we got to see the review on the Jumbotron and the replay, then you could see the magnitude of the event that happened, and maybe the thought of the player and Josh Cowan, you can't get in his mind. And this isn't bash Josh Cowan night. It's just that's what happened. He had a lapse, and now he's going to pay for it. All right, that made headlines for an unfortunate reason in the WHL this week. Headlines made, though, for a very good reason for one team and for the league in general, came in Portland, Oregon, when they acquired a player coming out of NCAA college hockey to play his 19-year-old season in the Western Hockey League. It's William Wren, an Alaska kid who's going to go play for the Portland Winterhawks. Yeah, the Winterhawks get stronger with this move, but another NCAA player that's going to come and develop more, get some more game experience, which you don't get as much of in the NCAA ranks. He's going to take the opportunity to join the Western Hockey League. The Portland Winterhawks maybe go on and take the scholarship route, which he is, of course, afforded with the Western Hockey League. But boy, just a huge addition to the Portland Winterhawks with this young player. Slides in basically to their top 4 pecking order on their blue line. He was playing at the University of Denver. He is also a second-round draft pick of the San Jose Sharks. So if the Winterhawks weren't already deep enough on their roster, boy, do they get a nice addition for basically free. Well, absolutely, and that's the glory of the scouting process in the Western Hockey League. Mike Johnston does it to a T. He goes ahead, recognizes this player, and says, you know what? I got a chance to see this young guy. We saw him play. We listed him, and he's now on the roster. And like you say, that's a huge acquisition without having to give up anything. We talked, and we've got about 40 seconds here, Dave. We talked in our first intermission that Portland would be a buyer to really load up to go after a league title. Do you think, though, that by adding a player like this and not having to give up anything on defense might pull the reins back a little bit for their GM and head coach Mike Johnson to try to swing a deal? It definitely does. That's a huge strength that they've gone ahead and added there, but also, you know what? Portland looks poised to make a run. They've got a lot of players that are more than likely going to graduate this year, so hey, never say never. Because it could happen. All right, Dave, thanks very much for your input. We'll let you get back to ice level and enjoy the third period here between the Broncos and the Calgary Hitmen. For complete up-to-date information on the best junior hockey league in the world, check out their easy-to-remember website, www.whl.ca.
We're going to head back upstairs now to our play-by-play team. Remember, they had to climb that very ladder to get to the broadcast booth. Fellas, I did it for 3 years. You're doing it for one night. Kirk Fraser, Jeff Hodgers, back to you.
Well, I'll be honest, I've done it for more than the one night. But yes, that is the route to the press box. Press level here at the Credit Union Iplex in Swift Current. Got to be part gymnast to get into this place. But it's all good. It's part of the charm of the smaller rinks here in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I can't believe we don't be sitting your shoulders to get up there, but
you don't want me to boost anything. Put me back in the hospital. All right, let's take a look back at the second period where it wound up 1-1 after 40.
Swift Current Broncos guilty of a few turnovers early. Mark Friesen here saving the bacon of the defenseman here for the Swift Current Broncos, making a couple big saves. Novotny on a power play gives him a pretty good chance, short-handed to Fiddler. And then a guy we've been talking about a lot, Christopher Foucault, but done nothing but work hard all night. Relentless on the puck, whether it's on the forecheck 5-on-5 or killing the penalty as we see here. He has been one guy that's been trying to lead by example and a team that's in last place. That's what you want, guys leading. Swift Current Broncos not generating much in the power play. Right at the end, here we see Adam Lowry, 3 guys deep on the puck. He's able to have a loose puck, quick hands, left-handed shot, out past the goal line, able to beat Schneider. And that's where we sit, 1-1.
A 20-minute hockey game here in Swift Current. Kirsch and Lowry with the goals. Calgary getting theirs in the first. Broncos getting theirs in the second. There you see the shots, 15-9 in favor of Swift Current, but it's all deadlocked, one apiece as we go to the third here at the Iplex in Swift Current. Swift Current Broncos. Adam Lowry, you're looking at the goal scorer for the Broncos, tying the game in the second period after Justin Kirsch staked the Hitmen to a 1-0 lead in period number 1. And we are set for a 20-minute hockey game here in Swift Current. Jeff, we've been very fortunate. All the games on Shaw have been very hotly contested and very close here in the third period. Looking forward to this one.
And I think Mark Lamb's team of Swift Current Broncos must have listened to his interview with Dave Thomas, because after the 10-minute mark, they definitely picked it up, out shooting Calgary right now 24-17.
Hitmen flip the puck in. McMaster and Kirsch on the forecheck. Evans is on that first, though, for Swift Current. Kind of got caught in no man's land. Able to poke it ahead, though, for Dylan Wagner. He'll flip that up ice. Jordan Peddle nicely for Dowling. Curls on the half boards. Trying to jam it down low. Bouncing puck. Whacked to center by Calgary. And here's Sylvester. Trying to move in all alone. He's 1-on-3. Gets some help. McMaster was driving the net, but the pass blocked by Justin Dowling. Mentioned he's the captain of the Broncos. Acting captain with Cody Eakin away at the World Juniors. Coming back with a silver medal. And Misha Fisenko able to work that in his own zone and around the net. Little trouble with it, but there's Schultz for Calgary. Ahead for Fiddler. Fires that around the net. Friesen lets it go. Bubnik is there trying to jam it back to the line, but Swift Current in possession. Jammed up by Lowry. Good speed by Voss to get on that. Trying to drive around Roach. One-handed on goal. And Snyder holds his ground to keep it 1-1.
Well, Voss takes an advantage of a pinch by defenseman here for Calgary. They stand up along the boards. They make a pinch. The puck is stepped by. Roach comes over, does a nice job of taking place of his partner, but just a half step behind, able to guide him towards the goal line. But Voss still able to get a bit of a shot on net.
Novotny on the face-off out there with Cameron and Blank. Gale, Berg, and Foucault, the line for Calgary. And Carter Berg has scored his first 2 WHL goals in his last 4 hockey games.
He's
playing,
hot.
playing as a forward and normally a defenseman. Wearing number 3 out there as the puck goes down the far boards into the Swift Current zone. Foucault and Nedumlel collide in the corner. There you see Carter Berg. The pass just eluded him in the slot. Wilson jumps down, sends one off the outside of the net. Chipped around by Graham Craig. Couldn't get it out. Looning holds it in. There's Foucault. Trying to spin off Novotny. Thrown to the ice. And it's whistled down on a hand pass against Calgary.
You know, you talk about the goal scoring and how hard it is. Defenseman stepping up. Ben Wilson stepping up. Berg stepping up. Defenseman getting goal scoring. But when you look at the goals for these teams, 102 for the Calgary Hitmen, 114 for the Swift Current Broncos. And right now, it's not helping the Swift Current Broncos having a guy like Cody Eakin away at World Junior now coming back hurt. those goals are hard to come by, and have a natural goal scorer like that out of your lineup, that hurts even more.
11th and 12th respectively in the Eastern Conference out of 12 teams in terms of offense. So maybe we shouldn't be at all surprised. There have been just 2 goals so far tonight. But there have been chances, and big hit at center ice. Peddle takes a shoulder from Schultz, and a chance in front. Great stop, Snyder's. He robs Dowling. Justin Dowling trying to drive on goal and break the tie, but Snyder keeps it out.
Well, you talk about taking a hit to make a play. That's exactly what happened there. Schmitz, the Calgary Hitman, was able to step up in the neutral zone, makes a big hit, what you're supposed to do. Here you get Dowling coming through with speed, takes advantage of it. Once again, goes to that backhand. Who's there to stop? Michael Snyder.
Off the top of that left pad, and it remains 1-1.
Very similar chance in the first period. On a power play, Dowling was able to come in a little bit wider, went across in the backhand low. Wasn't able to score that time either. Nice play by Schneider.
Has assists in 4 straight games, just Justin Dowling. He's off on a line change as Lowry, Voss, and Hoban come on for Swift Current. Puck goes out of play. They'll take the face-off outside the Calgary blue line.
You know, a lot of times in neutral zone as a defenseman, when you see that play coming up the boards, Lex to step up, make that hit. One thing you have to be sure of is that your partner is back supporting. Also, you have to be aware of who's on the ice. If Dowling's on the ice coming up with speed, you might want to keep that pressure in front of you.
Nice work by Voss to win that puck on the right wing side, but Fiddler and Fasenko double team him. Working around for Jimmy Bubnick. There goes Lowry back after it. By the way, playing in his 99th game in the Western Hockey League. Hitmen break that down. Bubnick is there on the right wing boards, able to shield Taylor Voss and slides that around for Ben Wilson. Another one of the many Calgary and Calgary area products of this Hitmen roster. Just into the Broncos zone it goes, and Swift Current turns it back up ice. Here's Verdino. Long shoot in. That skips wide of the net. Broncos will change. And Matt McKenzie on that. Quickly ahead for McMaster. He'll deflect that down into Swift Current territory. And Evans is there for Swift Current. His shoot around the boards cut off by McMaster. Riem is there too. Dowling and Evans unable to come up with the puck. And here's Justin Kirsch for Calgary, pardon me. Left wing hash marks, surveying the situation, centering pass. Sylvester was there, knocked off his stick. McMaster goes after it. Back down to Sylvester. Dowling trying to ride him off the puck. Kirsch does the same to Riem. Now centering pass, Sylvester unable to move it in front. Looning left point will take it back down for McMaster. In turn for Kirsch. Sylvester in front, centering pass intended for him, knocked away. McKenzie, sharp angle shot, doesn't get through. Now McMaster to the line, Looning with Foucault off the bench. Goes to the slot, gets the pass, shoots, and he put it wide. Sylvester trying to pull it out from behind the net. Hands off to Foucault. Dowling and Riem battling there for Swift Current. Play to the line, here's McKenzie, fires, that's stopped in front, scramble to the line. Looning holds it in. Foucault trying to center, knocked away by Evans. Cuts to the middle on his backhand, dishes, McKenzie, fakes around Peddle, takes a whack, keeps on going. Centering pass, Sylvester can't get a handle on it. Looning a blast, that goes off a stick wide. Foucault wins it for Calgary, up in front, knocked off his stick. But Calgary keeps it in, but only temporarily. They're going to head off on a change.
An excellent shift by the Calgary Hitmen. Who's leading the charge? Foucault, out there everywhere.
Matt McKenzie restarts for Calgary. Up for Danny Gale, off of sticks and no ice. Foucault and Verdino battle on the far boards. Andy Blank will get that for Swift Current. He'll just chip it off the boards and out. Novotny can't get the handle. Danny Gale works it free. Trying to dangle through center, lost the puck. Now it's Andy Blank, hit alone. Blank is stopped by Snyder, and it remains a 1-1 game.
Well, the Calgary Hitmen sustained pressure for probably 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Keep it in the Swift Current. Swift Current very lucky to get away. Here we'll take a look at some of the pressure. Foucault coming down the middle, finding that quiet area in the slot. Great little pass, a notch opportunity. Then we have a turnover. And the local boy, Andy Blank, coming in on a partial breakaway. Good back pressure by the Calgary Hitmen to get back. Disrupt his stick. Chances at both ends. Both defensemen coming back hard. Bird moving their feet. sticks in the lane, not taking the penalty.
Listed player by the Broncos, but now here comes Calgary. Fiddler darts in, backhander, and Friesen's got that. And no rebound with Jimmy Bubnik staring him down.
We have to be impressed with the speed of Fiddler coming down the wing on his off wing. Calgary doing a nice job of hitting guys in full stride, either coming down the slot or coming through the neutral zone, able to take advantage of Swift Current defense, forcing them wide.
27-18, shots on goal in favor of Swift Current. Just about 6 minutes gone here in the third. Wilson, a shot from the line. That doesn't get through, and great soccer skills to keep that deep as he kicks it down for Bubnik. Jimmy Bubnik with the big frame, muscles it in front, Fasenko a blast, and he fires it high.
Oh man, you got to hit the net from there.
You can't be in a better scoring area than that, can you? Great spot for him.
That's prime real estate right there.
Lowry and Bubnik battling for a puck, and Bubnik able to work that down the ice. It won't have enough gas for icing though. The Calgary sneaks in a line change. Swift Current does the same. Trevor Cameron from Mission, BC, just joined the Broncos a short time ago from Notre Dame in the Saskatchewan Junior League. Calgary ahead, Sylvester, long shoot in around on the far side. McKenzie's there, hit by Blank, and a good collision too.
Swift Current needs an answer shift here. They have to play a shift on Calgary. Then one of the lines has to step up here, take control, and get this team going the other way.
Calgary still in possession. Here is Looning, unable to get that cleanly off his skate. Ricochets down to Sylvester, now to Kirsch. Hangs on, gets some room, trying to cut back into the middle. Good tenacity by Kirsch, but it's just knocked off his stick by two Broncos. Novotny and Blank, now Looning. Good read on the pinch, holds it in. Kirsch trying to move it in front, but he stopped. Cameron there, will he get it out? No, Looning holds it in. Sylvester back in front, blocked. Sylvester again, centering pass, blocked by Scarlett. He'll play it around, McKenzie holds it in. Novotny, though, follows up and jams that up to center ice.
Maybe Dave Thomas should go interview Mark Lamb again.
McMaster in, shoots, gloved by Friesen, and he'll hold on. In the last 5 minutes or so, it has been all Calgary.
Well, the Calgary Hitmen able to generate a lot of pressure, a lot of puck possession, but haven't generated a whole bunch of shots, or those that have hit the net. Here's one by Fasenko, and he gets all of that over the right shoulder, and unfortunately, over the crossbar for Fasenko.
Yeah, that one, that looked like a frisbee. He kind of took off and didn't have a chance. He started it high, and it was aimed for the end glass. Carter Berg in the corner for Calgary, falling as he tries to center. And Swift Current at center ice. Here is Jordan Peddle. Has Wagner driving the net, but Foucault. Here's Chris Foucault again, coming back and winning the puck. Carter Berg now on it for Calgary. Bides his time, now hands it up for Gale. He slammed hard into the near glass. Graham Craig drops the shoulder on Danny Gale. And then Gale comes in and steps into Dylan Wagner. Penalty upcoming on the play. It's going to be against Swift Current, as Calgary's power play will have a chance to break the deadlock as it's deflected into the Swift Current zone. Friesen touches the puck, and we will get the penalty call. Roughing is the penalty called by Andy Thiessen.
And what a hit, Graham Craig, 6'4", 217 pounds. Oh, that's going to leave a mark in the morning.
And then give Gale a ton of credit, because he came right back and stepped into Wagner. But Czech defenseman Richard Nedemlau is in the penalty box.
And that's been the attitude of the Calgary Hitmen all night. They have not stopped. Danny Gale takes that hit. He's right back up in the play.
Calgary power play on their fourth chance. Fasenko a shot, knocked out in front. They jam at it. Sylvester took a couple of pokes, but Friesen's got it.
You know, for a team that's in last place, Swift Current, a team that just finished 11 games on the road, played one game at home. Quite a bit of life, quite a bit of emotion in this game. It's been a very hard-played game, very physical, very fast, very entertaining.
They are going to cause team fits. Whether or not they make the playoffs, this Calgary team is not going to be an easy touch like they maybe had been earlier in the year.
No, and if the coaching staff and the players can keep themselves this motivated to play this style of hockey, you're right. It's going to be exciting down the stretch, and who knows? You know, in their minds, they're going to make a run at it, at least make it difficult for other teams to get points.
Matt McKenzie centering pass. McMaster can't spin a shot on goal. His pass to the line looking for Foucault is picked off by Novotny. Skates to center, short-handed, cuts wide left. but can't get by McKenzie. Gets back on the puck, though. He'll lob it into his own zone, bounces right back to Friesen, and he'll launch that to center ice, and it hits McMaster going to the bench on a line change, and the Broncos hollering for a too many men on the ice penalty.
And I've seen that called both ways. I've seen that called where that's an automatic penalty where the refs have blown it down.
Would have been the third too many men penalty of the night. One for each team so far. Now Fisenko centering pass goes through the box to the right side. Jimmy Bubnik takes over. Fiddler comes off the bench to join the power play. Scarlett knocks Bubnik down, wins the puck, and clears off, looning and out. Taylor Vaz, good hustle. Wilson's got to work as Vaz shows good speed to get in after it. Wins the puck, centering for Hoban, but a great block by Brody Looning prevents that shorthanded chance. Nearing the midway mark of period number 3, Calgary pushing hard in this power play. Kirsch, Bubnik, and Fiddler now up front of the power play. Comes to McKenzie, a shot doesn't get through. Hoban's on it, he cannot get it out. Fiddler fell, and that cost him a few steps, and the Broncos, fortunately for them, able to clear. Another line change, and the puck comes to Sylvester, and again, too many men on the ice, I believe, against Calgary. Andy Thiessen having a chat with Ian Schaefer, the linesman, but it sure looked like too many men on the ice from here.
Believe that. Are they making the call?
Well, I'm not too sure why you'd blow it dead and not make the penalty call if it was too many men on the ice.
Offside.
Dave Thomas has an update downstairs for us.
It looks like it's an offside call down here. And during the play there, the too many men on the ice call that the fans all wanted, referee Devin Klein skated over to linesman Ian Schaefer and says good non-call, because they felt the goaltender played that directly towards the Hitmen bench when they saw them making the change. It went off a skate. It was incidental contact is what the officials said down here to the benches. So that's why no call there. And right now we just got to figure out why the offside was. That play looked right in front of me like it was onside.
Well, yeah, it looked like a too many men from up here. Jeff, you saw that too?
Well, that's what I thought. As soon as they played the puck coming off the bench, the whistle was blown before it was offside, but
okay, so we're
obviously the linesman seeing it differently.
All of us can't be crazy. We must be on something.
That is debatable.
Yeah, I know. Jury's still very much out on that. Calgary still in the power play for a few seconds. McKenzie able to work it in. A little too far for Santini, but there's Taylor Vaz to get to it and clear. So the power plays tonight have come up empty on both sides. Calgary 0 for 4, Swift Current 0 for 6. Approaching the 11-minute mark here in the third period. Brendan Santini for Calgary. Can't hook up with Cody Sylvester. Dalton Riem back on the puck. His pass took a funny bounce off the end boards. Calgary on it. Oh, that was dangerous. Centering pass glanced off the skate of Dalton Riem and just went wide. Riem in behind the net. Squashed there by Berg, but the puck comes free and the Broncos to center. No further, however. Danny Gale back on that for Calgary. Bank pass ahead for Foucault. That's broken up. Here's Hoban. Nice lead for Dowling. Hopping in, drive, shoots. He pulled it wide. Gale on that for Calgary. Nicely to Foucault. Drives in with Berg, 2-on-2. Foucault shoots and stopped by Friesen. Gale on that. He gets tripped up in the corner, and Dylan Wagner is going to get a penalty. Tripping the call, and the Calgary power play will get another chance here with 8:45 to go in the third period. For now, it remains 1-1. This is the WHL on Shaw. It is a 1-1 tie here in Swift Current. Middle stages of period 3, and here's how we got here to a 1-1 draw. Calgary getting the opening goal. Justin Kirsch capitalizing on a loose puck. Foucault and Roach the assists as he sweeps home that bouncing puck. And then in the second period, that was in the first period. Second period, there's Adam Lowry to tuck it in. His 11th and his 99th WHL game. And we are looking at a 1-1 tie with 8:45 to go here in this third period at the Credit Union iPlex.
You know, as the game goes on, both the goals that were scored in this game, not very pretty goals, both kind of crash and bang, bouncing pucks, walking out of the corner. Both teams playing hard. Have not seen those wide open 2-on-1 breakaways. Swift Current Dowling with a couple of opportunities. But other than that, as hard as they've played, they've also been able to play tight defensively.
Dylan Wagner off for tripping as Calgary looks to take the lead for a second time tonight. Misha Fisenko bobbing and weaving across the line. Sharp angle shot blocked. Dowling is there. Unable to clear the zone. Foucault right point. Lots of room. Steps in, shoots, and it's gloved by Friesen with Sylvester parked in front.
Mark Friesen looked very sharp all night. Actually, both goaltenders at both ends from the point, seeing the puck very well, tracking the puck very well, staying square in position for those rebound shots. Both goaltenders tonight putting on an excellent performance.
27-22 the shots on goal. 26 saves for Michael Snyder, 21 for Mark Friesen. Broncos win the draw and pound it down the ice. Again, their penalty kill's been good all year. And 4 for 4 tonight. They'd like to make it 5 for 5 and get out of this little jam they're in. Foucault weaves ahead. Shoot in off the glass, rides in behind the Swift Current goal. Friesen there to meet it. He'll play it around for Brad Hoban, and Ian Voss have room to operate shorthanded. 2-on-2, long shot, whistles wide of the net. And Chris Foucault, first man back on the loose puck. Lugs it to the Swift Current line, cross ice pass, good one to Fisenko. McKenzie, one-timer, that misses the net. Fisenko collects the rebound. Gets it to McKenzie, fires, that's wide too. Sylvester shovels it around for Foucault. Back down into the corner, Reese Scarlett jams it to Verdino, loads up the clearing attempt. A great job by McKenzie to hold it in, and his pass for Sylvester just misses. Fiddler trying to center, good block by Scarlett and a good clear as well.
Calgary Hitmen doing a nice job of getting their pucks through, but just off those 3-4 inches. Nice job coming out. Swift Current Broncos are coming out in lanes, forcing the take away that shooting lane, forcing the shoot at least a little bit wide.
Friesen handles the Calgary shoot in one more time, trying to go out of the zone, and he's able to do so. So valuable when you have a goaltender, Jeff, who can play the puck like that. Take so much pressure off your defense. Penalty against Wagner is over. Calgary 0 for 5 in the power play, but they still have possession in the offensive zone. At least for a while. Voss is on that now. Left wing for Adam Lowry, takes the bump as he clears the zone. Gets it back. Calgary in the midst of a partial change. But Wilson able to bottle it up far side, comes free, and now here goes Santini. He's stopped up at center ice. Chase Clayton's on that. 16-year-old from Abbotsford. Played for the Fraser Valley Bruins last year. Joining Gale and Santini at center, but they're turned back. And Brody Looning will reset here for Calgary. Broncos get a line change in with 6 minutes to go. As Santini gets across the line, drops it off, but it's offside. Calgary, and took a pretty good belt from Andy Blank once again right at the Swift Current bench.
Just after the whistle, big Andy Blank steps into his man along the boards, right near the Swift Current bench. Here's Santini, caught up with Blank, and runs him right into the partition for the glass where they have the, I guess, the rubber or the styrofoam there to protect just for that reason. So Santini lucky doesn't get hurt there. Padded bar.
Borrow a wrestling term, the old turnbuckle.
Yeah. Hit the forehead off the old turnbuckle. Oh, Stampede wrestling.
I'm flashing back to Ed Whalen right now.
Kind of dating ourselves here, I think.
Far too accurately. Let's stop that right now, shall we? Inside, 6 to go here in the third. It's been a good hockey game between these two. Between a team in 6th and a team in 12th in the conference. You're not sure what you're going to get, but this has been a dandy. Santini, nice move, but fans on the shot, back in front, scramble for it. And who's got it? Swift Current able to chip it to center. Here's Cameron giving chase, but Schmidt able to get there for Calgary. Now bouncing puck. Hitmen knocked it down in their own zone. Here is Roach cutting around the net. Nice work to lug that to center ice. Big shoot in off Nedumlel to the corner. And Hoban's on that for Swift Current. Lifts it ahead for Taylor Voss. Can't get past Sylvester at center. And Nedumlel will try again here for Swift Current. Across for Graham Craig. Lifts that to neutral ice. Taken by Lowry, the goal scorer for Swift Current. Good pass, Hoban now shoots. Snyder the save. Lowry wraparound touch. He scores! Adam Lowry, his second of the game with 4:45 to go. And the Broncos have taken their first lead of the night.
Adam Lowry right in the right spot. Once again, his second of the night. Very opportunistic. And once again, good work down low, putting pucks on net. And Adam Lowry digs the puck out underneath the goaltender, able on the backhand this time. Good awareness. Good hands once again by the big man to put that in tight space.
Not entirely dissimilar to his first goal. So 2 from Lowry, and the Broncos have come back from a first period deficit to take the lead. Calgary has been a determined bunch all night. Don't expect that to change now. Fiddler's in, back in front for Bubnik. Couldn't pull the trigger.
Oh, you got to shoot that there.
Hand pass called against Swift Current.
Gonna have one more look here at this goal coming up by Adam Lowry. Some good work, shot by Hoban. Snyder unable to control that puck with his stick. Lowry doing good work, tenacious, digs it out. But Snyder trying to bring that puck in, unable to. Lowry right there to take it away from him and caught him leaning with, trying to corral with his stick and couldn't get across. Lowry went in on the backhand.
Swift Current now playing with the lead for the first time, gets it across the line. Dowling trying to move in and add some insurance. Held up in the corner, Looting and Berg battling it for Calgary. Dowling and Wagner, I believe, are in there as well. Swift Current will be content just to kill some time. But Calgary ahead. Here's Santini. Chipping it in, gets to it, waits for his mates on the line change, but couldn't wait long enough. Dowling back on that for the Broncos. Nice read by Evans to avoid the rink wide pass and gets it up the boards and into the offensive zone. Calgary turns it back. Here's the Hitmen goal scorer, Justin Kirsch. Cross corner shoot in for Sylvester with 3:20 left. Bodied by Verdino. Laws goes in as well for the Broncos. McMaster in the slot. Hoban and Scarlett have an eye on him. McKenzie on the right side trying to keep it in, but the Broncos succeed in clearing the zone. The Hitmen have played 40 games this season. 29 of them have been one-goal games at some point in the third period. And that's exactly where we're at now. 3-on-1 Broncos. Vaz, Verdino, Vaz across. They score! The hat trick for Adam Lowry. And it's 3-1 Broncos.
Well, the first 3 goals of this hockey game were all ugly, hard-working goals. This one here that Adam Lowry scores, you're not going to see a prettier goal than this. A little bit of tic-tac-toe passing with Adam Lowry on the end of it, able to put it in the open cage. Man, Vaz with a nice pass across, and Lowry has nothing to do but just bury that in the open net.
I don't have the stats, but I have to think that is probably his first WHL hat trick. 10 goals coming into tonight. 25 goals in his career. 13th of the season for Adam Lowry. And 2 goals in just under 2 minutes have put the Broncos in line for their 21st win of the season.
And for a team like Swift Current that also struggles to score goals, it needs certain guys to step up. And for a guy like Adam Lowry, that gives him a whole lot of confidence going in.
Jimmy Bubnik trying to win the puck back for Calgary. Gets it down to Fisenko. Back in front. Little sharp angle chance from Fiddler. Couldn't get it on target. Bubnik sends it down low. Comes back to him. Fisenko near side trying to win it free. Calgary has pulled the goaltender. And a shot from the left wing held by Friesen with 2 minutes to go in this third period.
And what a turn of events here in the third period. First 12, 13 minutes, pretty much all Calgary Hitmen able to sustain pressure, not able to get that goal. Mark Friesen able to stand tall in Swift Current net. Swift Current taking advantage of opportunities. 2 more goals by Adam Lowry.
And a timeout has been called by Calgary. So 2 goals in this third period for Swift Current, 15-15. Lowry from Hoban and Vaz, and then at 17-13, Lowry from Verdino and Vaz. That's the hat trick for Swift Current's Adam Lowry. And the Hitmen trying to devise a way back from 2 goals down late in this third period.
In that last goal, also a nice job by Verdino, the defenseman for the Swift Current Broncos, to step up, and you make that a 3-on-1 instead of a 2-on-1, so give that extra pass in there, which also pulls the goaltender out of position. But Mike Williamson, yeah, you're down 3-1, you got 2 minutes left with a chance, to get back in this, but very solid effort so far. No matter what happens here, it's been a very solid, competitive effort by both teams, especially the Calgary Hitmen.
Fisenko, Fiddler, Bubnik, Fisenko, Wilson, and McKenzie. They win the draw, but a shot off an ankle out of play will reset with a face-off in the Swift Current zone.
And that last scoring chance able to also create off a pinch by the Calgary Hitmen. You're down 2-1, last 2.5 minutes. You want to try and create something, you have to step up, make some chances, and that's what allowed that 3-on-1.
Both these teams play tomorrow. Calgary on the road to Brandon, while Swift Current plays a home-and-home against Medicine Hat. That next game is here against the Tigers. Empty net for Calgary. Broncos can put it away here. Taylor Vaz looking across. Guess what? Adam Lowry is out there. I think they're trying to set him up for his 4th. Now Fisenko loses the puck. Lowry will send it down ice. Not enough gas for icing, though. Ben Wilson will hustle back. Hands to McKenzie. Up for Fiddler. Takes that crisply. Dumped at center. Penalty against Swift Current. Kershaw's shot misses stick side. Bubnik going to flip it down the boards. Vaz cuts it off, and now with 1:20 to go, Calgary will have a 6-on-4, looking for 2 goals to tie it.
You think Taylor Vaz is now thinking maybe I should have shot that into the open net instead of trying to find Adam Lowry?
Oh boy, yeah, it's one of those, you know what, maybe, yeah, I should have. But now it's Adam Lowry in the box. He's off for tripping, so the 4-goal night will have to wait. Third straight power play in this third period for Calgary. It might be a little bit too late, but 6-on-4, and Taylor Vaz has broken his stick. So 6-on-3.5. Sharp angle chance. Stopped in front, rebound, they score! Cody Sylvester on a loose puck in front. It's a power play goal, and this one might not be done yet.
Couldn't have a worst case scenario happen if you're the Swift Current Broncos killing that penalty. It's a 6-on-4 with the goalie's pulled. You break a stick, now you're on a 6-on-3. Swarm net cross crease pass there. Deflected, bounces off the goaltender, right on the stick of Sylvester, and he's able to put that up top over the blocker.
12th goal of the year for the Kelowna product. Cody Sylvester giving his team life in the final 68 seconds.
Off a stick, off a skate, onto your stick. Thank you very much.
The Hitmen trying to find a way back. Snyder back in goal for now. And he'll head to the bench as Fisenko weaves through center. Left wing pass off McKenzie in deep behind Friesen. Bubnik and Evans in after it. Fiddler there for Calgary. Can't get the handle. Lowry trying to clear. Bouncing puck at center. Hitmen chop it back in. But the Broncos get it. Lowry for Hoban. Too far. Now Fiddler at center. Bouncing puck. Lowry's got it for Hoban. Broken up. 30 seconds left. Foucault across to Looning. Now to McKenzie for Sylvester. They chip it in. They've got to win this puck back. Kirsch and Evans both there. Sylvester can't get it to the line. Cleared out by Lowry. Wilson screaming back. 12 seconds to go. This is it for Calgary. But an empty net for Vaz. He scores. But no, they're going to call that delayed offside against Swift Current. So no goal. 6 seconds to go. There may yet still be one last gasp for Calgary.
Well, Vaz trying to wait on side for Hoban, just a fraction of a second too early. Otherwise, he would have had the Broncos' 4th goal.
And now Mark Lamb is going to call a timeout for Swift Current.
Taking a look at it there. Hard to tell from that angle if he was in the zone or not. He was off to the right of the camera angle, but referee had the good angle on it.
Oh, no timeout for Swift Current, but what a great play by Dylan Wagner to break up the home run pass for Chris Foucault. And the Broncos rally from a first period deficit and then hold on to beat a determined Calgary team tonight. 3-2 the final score here in Swift Current.
No, right from the start of the game, both teams came out. Calgary Hitmen, I thought, had a nice job of starting the game. Took it to them. Swift Current responded later. Calgary Hitmen then comes back in the third period. And once again, the Swift Current Broncos find a way to answer. They've had trouble scoring all year, but they found a way to get crucial goals when needed in this game.
Adam Lowry with the hat trick. Broncos win this one 3-2. This is the WHL on Shaw.
Adam Lowry and the Swift Current Broncos 3, the Calgary Hitmen 2 tonight here in Swift Current. Adam, hat trick, when was the last one?
I think my first year midget, I think that was the last time I scored a hat trick. I've had a few 2-goal games in this league, but never been able to find the third one until tonight.
Well, they don't draw a picture in the standings. 2 points is 2 points. It may not have been the best effort, but you get an important jump up in the standings.
Yeah, we've been struggling lately, so any win's big for us. And you know, we have a couple tough games coming up against Medicine Hat, so it's good to have that feeling going into them.
As we take a look at your goals, first are maybe prototypical Lowry goals, those ones coming from behind the goal line.
Yeah, the first 2 goals I kind of were just battles, and I kind of tucked it. Beat Schneider, his pads weren't fully on the ice, and the third one, it was a pretty nice passing play from Verdino and Vaz, and it was nice to get that third one.
Absolutely, it wasn't. There was maybe an opportunity for a fourth that you might hear about after this.
Yeah, you know, with the empty net, we had a couple chances, but I didn't want to risk it, icing it. I just tried to get the puck out, and you know, they'll probably give it to me for taking that penalty, letting them get back in the game, but the win's the win.
Absolutely it is. So what do you take from this game moving forward? Of course, the trade deadline is looming, but you also get Cody Eakin back.
Well, that's going to be huge for us. You know, our offense took a little bit of a hit, you know, when you're missing one of the best players in the league, but I think our team, we've had a few guys step up, definitely, and you know, to have him back, he'll bolster us upcoming.
Adam, thanks for this. Congratulations on the hat trick.
Thank you.
Adam Lowry, first career WHL hat trick tonight. We'll send it back upstairs to Kirk and Jeff for more following this 3-2 Swift Current victory tonight here in Speedy Creek.
Dave, thanks very much, and what a game it was. Give Swift Current a ton of credit for coming back from a goal down, but give Calgary a ton of credit. They came in here and played as well as a team can and not come away with 2 points.
Well, I think there was one reason why they didn't come away with 2 points. That was Mark Freese, and I thought the goaltender for Swift Current Broncos, when the Calgary had their opportunities, he was there to make the saves when they needed him, and Swift Current very opportunistic. On a couple of the goals there by Adam Lowry, they had pressure down in their zone for a couple minutes, 2.5 minutes. They go down the other way, and again, opportunistic goal, and that's all because of the play of Mark Freese.
Well, it was certainly an entertaining game, and another one here on Shaw that goes right down to the wire. A 3-2 final in favor of the Swift Current Broncos. Let's send things downstairs to ice level. Joey Kenward standing by.
All right, thanks very much. Great work as always, fellas. Here are the 3 stars selected tonight at the Credit Union iPlex. Third star from the hometown Broncos, had a great performance. Taylor Vaz, who we talked about in our intermission break, great off the ice. Tonight, great on the ice. He's star number 3. Chris Foucault from the Calgary Hitmen was all over the puck tonight. He was very good in a losing cause for Calgary. No doubt about the star number 1 honors going to Adam Lowry. 3 goals, a natural hat trick, including the game winner, propelling Swift Current to a 3-2 victory here at home against Calgary. Take a break, come back with more as our post-game show rolls along from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the WHL live here on Shaw. On a rare Thursday night in the Western Hockey League, quiet out-of-town scoreboard, just 2 games on tap. They're late in the first period in the Okanagan Kelowna Rockets, Moose Jaw Warriors still in a scoreless tie. And the game you just watched here from the Credit Union iPlex had the Swift Current Broncos getting a natural hat trick from the reigning Scholastic Player of the Year in the Western Hockey League. Adam Lowry gets 3. Justin Kirsch, Cody Sylvester replying in the loss for Calgary. Broncos move up the standings in the East Division. Calgary still trying to make ground to make it towards the playoff bar. 3-2 your final, Swift Current defeating Calgary. Here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Jimmy Bubnick and his Calgary Hitmen came in looking for a win against one of the most storied franchises in the Western Hockey League, the Swift Current Broncos. Before we talk about that, be prepared for our next WHL game. It is next Wednesday morning at 11:30 Mountain start time as the Edmonton Oil Kings host the Kootenay Ice here on Shaw. Back to business here tonight in Swift Current. Adam Lowry had a natural hat trick. He propels Swift Current to a 3-2 victory over the Calgary Hitmen. On behalf of our entire play-by-play team of Kirk Fraser, Jeff Odgers, in-ring host Dave Thomas, and all of those working hard behind the scenes here at the Credit Union iPlex, this is Joey Kenward saying thanks for watching and good night from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. This is the Western Hockey League on Shaw.